Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for being here today. Madam Clerk, I'd like to call for the meeting at 6:02 p.m. Hold on, I'm sorry, I'm getting a call on. Actually, I know why I'm getting the call because my mic wasn't on. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. Madam Clerk, can you please take roll call?
Here.
Microphone's not on either.
Yeah.
Hassan Ahmad,
Here.
Mo Beydoun,
Here.
Nancy Breyer,
Here.
Robert Constant,
Here.
Denise Malinowski Maxwell. Here. Hassan Saab,
Here.
and Tom Wenzel.
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I'm going to have our very own Honorable Rose Trepepi, who's with us here today, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Rose. You may be seated. In the beginning here, we were going to start off with a presentation from City Engineer Deeb, but I know I asked Mr. Deeb if you want to take your laptop, keep it with you just for a second. We do have an organization here with us, or a future organization, that's going to be speaking from River Oaks Association. They have a presentation. They'd like to speak before this body. I honored that they would be able to speak in the beginning. I contacted the clerk late. It was on my fault, and I said, you know, if I'll just have them come up in the beginning and speak. So, Mr. Sabah and Mr. Darwish, if you two want to speak, get up to the podium. You're more than welcome.
Good evening, Council. Thank you, Chairman Beydoun. My name is Ahmed Seba. I am the president of the River Oaks Community Association. It's nice to meet you all. I'm also an attorney. I practice corporate law. I've been a lifelong resident of Dearborn Heights, lived in River Oaks my entire life. I lived with my parents. Now I bought my own home in the same neighborhood, so I was happy to do that. This is Bilal. I don't know if you want to make an introduction, Bilal.
Good evening, Council. Bill Darwish, 20273 Old Colony. I live next door to the clubhouse.
Mr. Seba, can you also give your address? You don't have to give the
Sure,
actual
yeah.
numbers, just the street that you live on.
Yeah, Brookwood Street in the River Oaks neighborhood. Council, I'm here today to request first that you, so let me start over. So I took over as president of the association at the end of 2022, so it's been a little over a year now. It was really exciting for me to do so, having lived in the neighborhood my entire life. You know, it's nice to be able to give back. You may or may not be aware that there is a historic clubhouse in the neighborhood. It used to be Henry Ford Stables. It's repurposed now into kind of a hall. It's been out of order for a few years as a result of, you know, some less than stellar management of the association. In the past 10 to 15 years, there used to be a fully functioning pool, community pool there. I grew up in that pool, so, sad to see it go or fall into disrepair, but, we're here now and we've done some good things in the short year. We've, had a new administration. So the reason I'm here today is because when we started, we had inherited a $1,400 water bill balance. The association, or the clubhouse at least, is charged on a monthly basis about $120 by the water department, just by virtue of its being a building, whether or not any water is used. It's charged $120. For background, the association is essentially a group of volunteers. It's not really a homeowners association because there's no requirement for any of the residents to pay fees. So, when we took over, we had inherited this $1,400 bill. We had zero funds. Since then, we've, collected membership dues, and I think our current balance is up to like $3,200. And we have plans this year. We're a domestic nonprofit organization. We have plans this year to apply for a federal nonprofit status, which will hopefully put us in a position to obtain general funding from the government. In addition to Bilal here, we have other members of the board and the community present at this meeting as well, just a side note. But regardless, so the association does not really have currently any way to generate funds. We inherited this $1,400 bill and are continuing to be charged, the $100 or so a month just by the water department. As I said, and apologies, I'm fasting. I'm a little slower today. My thoughts are scrambled. But, so what we're requesting of the council is that, I guess before I get to that, so as of about 1 month ago, as of February 8th, the balance was up to about $2,600. It remained unpaid. We had spoken with Mayor Bazzi about the issue, and Mayor Bazzi was supportive, put us in touch with the director of the water department, and, at that point it was stalled. The director was not able to help us. So, we're coming to the city council now. So as of February 8th, the balance was around $2,600. Again, none of the balance was actual used water. It was just by virtue of the monthly fee and then the penalties every month, which amount to 10% of the unpaid balance. So every month, that we were unable to pay these fees, we were also getting penalized for being unable to pay these fees. So there's nothing really we could do. In early February, and I just learned about this 3 days ago, in early February, there was a water pipe that burst in the clubhouse, and as a result, an additional $3,000 in fees were accrued. About $1,400 for the water, and another $1,400 for sewage disposal. Obviously, that doesn't make our case any easier here in front of you all. And it doesn't put us in any better of a position to pay it off, because now we owe that balance, which is up to like $5,600, and we're going to continue to owe the penalties, the late fees, which are 10% of the balance per cycle. So every month or two, it's going to be an extra $500. So I'm here today to request that the city council approves waiving our balance in exchange for our agreement that we will pay the $100 monthly fee, regardless of whether or not we use the water at the clubhouse, because now we are finally in a position to generate some funds. But as I said, I mean, our entire bank account is like $3,200 right now. Nonetheless, in the last year, we've done a lot. We've collected fees. We've, generated a solid membership base so that we can at least get some kind of funding. Regardless, we're not able to pay this $5,600. We were not able to pay the $2,600. And, the water main breaking or the pipe bursting did not help us. We understand that we were unable to suspend our account and stop the water or cut off the water during the pendency of our outstanding balance, because apparently you were unable to suspend your account with an outstanding balance. So that didn't really help us either. But, regardless, this is a volunteer organization. We do not have the means to pay, either the balance or the continuing late fees. And at this point, all 800 voters in the neighborhood are, aware of the issue and hoping that the city council can help out. I know many members of the city council, personally, others, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting, but I look forward to doing so. And, we welcome you into our neighborhood and our community at any time to discuss some of the other issues that we're facing. But presently, the ask is that the city council can approve waiving our balance, and we're happy to continue to pay on a go-forward basis. But, we'd really appreciate, the city looking out for us here in that way.
Council Chair.
Real quick, Councilman. So Ahmed, thank you so much for that, and I know this is something that I've met with some of the board, I think you guys had a few board members there. I'm just gonna tell you on both ends, Mr. Deeb and I had a conversation, and he made some good points as well, but, I won't go into that too much. At the end of the day, this is gonna have to be, we can put it before this body. The body's gonna make the ultimate decision. There's nothing here today, but maybe by the next meeting, I can then get with the council or Madam Clerk, and we can get something put on there. But I'm gonna ask you, that I don't think the council or the city is gonna take on the full burden. But I'm gonna ask that maybe you guys can work something out and we'll work something out so that, we're not asking the city to take on this full burden, but you guys, like the $120 a month. I have a small business, and if I don't use any water, no matter what, I'm gonna get the 120. I know you guys are not a small business, but potentially if you guys can start, like you said, it's a hall, and we can start renovating it or maybe start utilizing it so that people can rent it out, ensuring that, there's a $120 fee upfront just for water, even if you're not using the water, and then whatever else you guys want to charge a fee. I hope maybe you guys, as the association, can start doing that, or the small nonprofit, or whatever it may be. I can maybe help propose something with helps of Corporation Council. Maybe you guys can eat the first 1,500, and then the council would, put on the board. And now, I'm not saying it's gonna get approved, because at the end of the day, the majority is gonna have to vote in support of that. Go ahead, Councilman.
Councilor, who does this bill go to? Association?
Yeah,
So who owns the property?
the River Oak subdivision.
River Oak
All the homeowners own a piece of the property.
And it's a historic site?
It's,
It lost its historic status about 5 years ago when they changed the roofing
Yep.
from slate to shingles. We weren't involved in that, but I mean, it still has plenty of historic value. There's we welcome you to come check it out. It's the building and the lot. It's actually, really nice and a nice thing to have in the
Oh, it's
neighborhood.
beautiful. Henry Ford, I think there's a,
That's right, yeah.
he would ride his horse over there.
Yeah, apparently the whole neighborhood was his horse track.
it was a horse stable and it was his apple orchard.
Yeah.
That's what it
Council Chair.
was.
Are you done here?
I'm all set, thank you.
Councilman Ahmad?
Thank you, Council Chair. You mentioned about the pipe busted. Was that inside the building?
Yeah, it was inside the
So
building.
basically, the building was not heated, that's why,
So-
and wasn't
So
winterized?
the building is the reason why we're not generating any money, that's why I wanted to speak right now. We're not generating any money because the building is really not usable. So since, it's been about, 2 years now? We
Well,
haven't.
yeah, a little over a
bit
year.
over, about a year and a half or something. We haven't been renting the building out. It's not usable. And that's the reason why, if you want to say, we wanted the water cut off. So we didn't have this problem anyways.
Cut it off.
We can't.
Why?
They won't shut it off.
Who will?
The city. The city won't turn it
Pass-
off at
there's
the
a pending bill.
outside.
Please
Because you
don't-
owe balance.
One from now.
So you're not allowed to cut it off. So we didn't cut it off. That was the problem we were having.
When you pay off this balance, will you guys shut it off?
I think they shut it off now because the
They
pipe
should-
burst.
Yeah, that's been on then.
We had to, they had to come shut it off because there was a burst pipe. So, and we have other issues. We can't afford to leave the heat
So
on.
let me ask you guys a
You know,
quick question.
It is heated, though. We do pay
We-
DTE. We heat it, it's like 55 degrees.
Yeah, but that doesn't do much in a horse stable. Basically, it's a horse stable. There's no insulation, there's no nothing. It's wood walls.
So let me ask you guys, it belongs to you guys.
Yeah.
Because everybody in the neighborhood claims it, right? Because nobody pays associations towards it.
So you got, how many homes? 13 homes that paid?
Yeah, honestly, we have 30 of the 210. I hear what you're saying, Chairman. I like the proposal of you working something out.
Yeah.
We're happy to pay. I think that, you said something like 1,500. That's actually technically what we would owe if we were to take over the, monthly payments from once we started. We're happy to pay that much. We're able to pay around that much. Otherwise, the accumulation of the penalties, it's just crippling us.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work, I understand what you're saying. We're trying to get our feet under us, and we are. The association has been mismanaged the past 10 to 15 years. It used to be a great thing. It's been mismanaged in the past 10 to 15 years. We need some help while we get our feet under us and get moving.
Okay.
We have plans, for funding, for renovations to the house. But now, this bill is just an issue that, one, has been lingering, and two, has
Nothing
just
from the audience, please.
gotten worse.
Council Chair?
Okay. I got Councilman Saab first, and then Councilman
I was
Watson.
constant.
next.
Oh, Councilman Constant. I thought you tapped me.
That's for who?
Thank you, Council Chair. Yeah, there's a special assessment that was assessed, but never levied, or was it?
Oh, yeah,
Well, we paid
we
it.
pay it.
Yeah.
It was missed. It was missed when it was supposed to be levied for the work that was done because the water was stagnant. And to get the pond and so forth
Oh,
flowing.
we pay it every year.
Right, right. But it was, when it was supposed to be levied, it wasn't. It was missed, supposedly according to a staff error. But the bill goes actually to the association.
Wait, what do you mean it was missed?
The bill goes to
Hold on. What do
yeah.
you mean it was missed? We
It was
get charged
missed.
it every year.
The tax wasn't levied when it was supposed to.
No, that's not true.
It was supposed to be levied in the fall and it wasn't.
Oh, you mean most recently?
Yes.
The $100 is now
Oh,
gonna be, yeah.
But it just came on our bill.
Yeah, every resident pays that normally on their taxes. It's like $100
$100 or something.
per tax, season.
Yeah,
So that's separate though.
that's for the fund.
Well, so that's a tax from the city to the association.
Yeah, to the homeowners, not
yeah,
the
it's-
association,
yeah,
to all the
it's-
homeowners.
All right, guys, I don't want to stay on this
Yeah, it's
topic
taking
too
too much
much.
time, Council Chair. If we
But,
can move
but
on.
in any event, it's levied against the heating bill and all this, it's all levied, just against the association itself.
No.
No, that's
We-
for the pond only.
Yeah, there was, the pond project took, what
I'm
was it?
talking about the water bills, the water bill and the heating bill, that, when the bill comes, it comes in the name of the association?
It comes in the address, to the address.
Yeah.
The address of the clubhouse, which is 20305.
So resident of,
It's not, there's no resident, but it comes to the address. It's not, it doesn't name the association. Well, actually, I have the,
It does.
oh,
It is
yeah,
the
River Oaks Association,
It
yeah.
does, River Oaks Association.
Well, the water bill does at least.
Yeah, River Oaks Association.
All right, guys, real quick. Next up, we got Tom. Councilman Watson.
Thank you, Chairman, Council Chair. I sympathize with you, especially being a historic building. I got a tender spot in my heart for historic buildings. But you got to realize by forgiving the bill, we don't just forgive the bill. The city is out that money, and we have to pay that for that water. The city's paying for that water from the Great Lakes Water Authority. So it'd be us forgiving your bill and then us paying your bill. So you see what I mean? So it's not it's a little bit more complicated than just forgiving the bill.
We understand.
Yeah, understood. I mean, here's what we're asking, The penalties, we can't afford to pay them, $500 a month now, okay? So we can work something out to where, let's set this aside, let's not make it an outstanding balance on a bill. We can agree to pay some portion of it, a reasonable portion of it, especially, at least with respect to the use, I mean, here's the thing. We're not using the water. So half of this bill now, since the water main, or the water pipe bursting, half of the bill is not for your use of the water. It's for the city's benefit, just by virtue of them operating the water, and that's fine, okay? So half of it is not really actually consumption. Now, half of it is consumption, by virtue of the pipe bursting. So we appreciate that and we understand, but if we could work something out to where, the water bill comes in every month at whatever it comes in at, and we don't know a balance, and we otherwise satisfy the balance by paying some amount towards the city.
Okay, I got a suggestion I'd like to make.
Yeah, go ahead, Councilwoman.
Yeah, because the bottom line is Great Lakes Water Authority, we pay them, no matter what we collect from other people. But I suggest we adjust all the penalties and interest and see where we stand and maybe come up with a payment plan of some kind.
Sure,
I mean, because that's on our side of the house, is the penalties and the interest.
sure.
But the water part, we have no control over. We have to pay it no matter what.
Understood.
And that's what
We'll come up with the solution. I'll have something, I'll get in contact with some of the council members here. They can all put in their input. We'll put something here with Roger as well, our corporation council. We'll see what we can propose. We'll bring it to the council. If it approves, I'm sure you guys will see, something, I agree with you on that one. I mean,
And we're not asking you guys to,
but if there's,
Oh,
like,
no,
like
we
the
don't
councilman Wenzel
understand.
said, we
Everybody
paid for
gotta
that
pay.
water, Great Lakes Water Association, we have to pay it. It's not fair for anybody living in the south end or somebody paying, living on Amboy or
We don't want that
Wilson,
either. Yeah.
saying, hey, why am I paying, this water? So,
I think that.
but I'm sure we can find some type of common ground.
Yeah, and we're happy to work, offline with you guys about it. I mean, you
We
have
will.
my number, Council Chair.
I will. I'll definitely get in
So,
contact
we're
with
happy to work something out, but I just wanted to get this in front of you guys.
thank
I
you very
appreciate
much.
you guys. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
all. Appreciate your time.
Mr. Deeb, so sorry for cutting you off in the beginning. Thank
that's
you guys.
fine.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Council Chair.
Yep,
thank you for
presentation by
that.
Mr. Deeb on capital projects funding plan.
So I have before you tonight an overall plan for all the capital projects coming up. I heard a lot of questions about, where are we with, how we're paying for all these projects, and we have capital work, and we have all these grants, and some are grant funded, some are capital, some are bond money, some are local shares. So what I have tonight is a real high overview depicting all the, going forward for all the projects, the capital projects. And I have with me Pat McGowan from Miller Canfield, Michelle Lewis, which we all know, Wayne Hoffman, our grant scout, Vaughn Martin from Wade Trim, and myself. So we will attempt to go through this quick presentation just to give you all an overall view, because I need your support if these projects are to take place, go forward, because we're under an extremely tight timeline. So with that, so on the agenda for tonight is an update for the funding scout services and an overview of the upcoming funding and the finance needs. So the projects, when I say capital projects, the L41 sewer separation, which I have gone through before and explained to you why we have this project. This particular project was part of the old bonds that were sold in 21, and I pointed out that we were running out of funding under the old bond. Second project was lead service replacement, which we all know that these are mandated lead service after the Flint issue, so we have an estimate on that project. Water meter replacements throughout the city, and the water main replacements. These are the four target projects that we call the capital improvement projects that we needed to fund. And this thing is broken. You broke it.
It just worked.
I know.
There we go.
All right. So I'm going to start with the funding scouts. So this is a snapshot of what we have obtained so far. And as you know, we're trying to move away from having to fund all of our work internally with, city taxes and rate charges. So this is the, since December of 2022, we submitted $39.1 million to grants. Applications. So that's what we submitted on behalf of the city. This gentleman did. We were awarded $26.5 million and denied 2.3. Now, in any other organization, this particular rate or success rate is amazing. It exceeded our own expectations. We did not expect to receive that much in grant money. So now, with the good. All right, so come on in. So now for the actual projects, one project at a time. The L41 CSO, the combined sewer overflow, which is depicted on the map in the yellow area. I don't know if you can see it, but this will be the L41. The bottom yellow.
Putting a laser?
That was the laser doesn't work. All right, so the L41 project, the sewer separation project, again, remained from the last bond issue. Current estimate is $6,260,000 for that one project. Upcoming work, the CSO 6.2, 6260, lead service line replacement 13805,
Water main replacement, 13,200, and water meters, water main replacement, water meters are 13,200, water main replacement at 7,270, 5 locations.
Mr. Deeb, can I stop you for a second?
Yes, sir.
The water meters,
Yes.
will that be done before the lead service lines and the L41? Or are we doing L41, lead service lines, and then water meters? Because,
the
water meters has been
scheduling-
a top priority for the entire city.
The scheduling, so we're going down, the scheduling is currently taking place. Actually, now that you mentioned it, lead service line and water meters, we're actually trying to combine because this way we'll have one-time access to the basement and do them together. So if you have lead service line, we'll replace it at the time you replace the meter. So that's the plan. We haven't, and this is again, so the total project costs, when I say capital projects, and that does not include other projects that we have, like the fire stations and, parks and stuff. Just these projects under the capital program are $40,530,000. And this is now the breakdown, and I'm going to have Mr. Hoffman.
Thank you, Mr. Dibb. Great to join you tonight, Council.
Sorry, can you
Council
speak
President.
into the mic?
Yep, sorry about that. Wanted to go over the grants that you're getting. So each of these projects is receiving grant portion. So we combined the 3 drinking water projects into one application that helped you score higher with the state. So they were able to fund all that at once through various grants. So each of these projects that are up there, they're getting a grant portion. The one that makes it a little complicated is the lead service line. That's principal forgiveness. It's very similar to a grant. So you have to basically create a loan with the state, and once that's complete, that is forgiven the day that project is complete. So, but the good news is, and this is what we were hoping for when we submitted all these projects, is that we would get grant for all of them. So in total, out of that 40 million, 50 million of that is in the form of grants or principal forgiveness, 50%.
Council Chair, if you go back to the previous slide, if you don't mind, it says that you were using ARPA money. Is that from the 14 million?
No.
Yeah, we're
This-
going to get into.
This is the state's share, so the state took
It's not
some of
our
their,
money.
yeah, sorry, yeah. So the state took their ARPA money, put it into water, so we're using the state's ARPA money, which is great. It's pretty flexible.
Council Chair.
Hang on one
Question,
second.
Can you go back 1 second? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
can you go back one more?
So I remember Mr. D was here. He said he got a full amount for the meter replacement.
That was initial. That was initially.
There has been a lot of going back and forth with the state as to where these pots are. The state is, they're struggling with their own rules right now.
So technically, what we applied for, we got 50% of only.
Yes, which
So
was
technically, the grants aren't full grants.
correct.
That-
And we knew
Well-
that going in.
But I remember that when we said the water, it was a full water replacement across the city, we had full grant money for it. So where's the other money going to come from?
That's when they initially, that's what they told us initially. And then when the final approval came, it was only 50%.
So, yes, some of the, okay. Well, there were projects that were fully funded originally, but that wasn't how,
The way the final approval, the way the final approval came from the state, they played with the numbers on all these projects and they were down to 50%. But they packaged them all together, so it wasn't a single project. They packaged them all together.
And that's fine, Mr. D. My question is, where are we going to get the other 6 million,
Can
6.5
we-
million?
Can we just go, just give us two
yeah.
more slides and you
Let
can
me do the presentation, because we're trying to show you the reasoning
step
behind
at a
this.
time.
So we can definitely take questions at the end. So $40 million in total projects, 50 million in, or 50%
I just
grants.
want to have one last interruption. When you say total grants, $20,269,990, that's the exact number. Did we receive this money already?
You will not receive the money until after the project's completed. This is how these grants work. So you definitely need to complete the project, but the grants come after. And with these particular projects, they're very large. It's not like it comes in one big lump sum at the end. As you complete work, you get reimbursed by the state. So you're not out $20 million before you see a dollar. So that's how these projects work. So as a condition, and this is, state law and the way that this funding works, To get the first two projects funded, you also need to take out a loan. The first loan is bipartisan infrastructure law. That's part of the big infrastructure bill at the federal level. That requires 50% of that project be a loan that you have with the state.
I gotta pause you one more time.
Okay.
Verbatim from Mr. Deeb. We're not taking out any more loans, and if the state wants us to do it, the state can come here and they can fund us themselves. What has changed now? Mind you, and I love the energy, because I've been the one saying, I wish I didn't approve the CSO bond, because Mr. Deeb has told me, you know, that was a big mistake that we made. We should, if the state wanted us to, you know, pull out that CSO bond and they want us to do these projects, they should have funded it themselves.
I can't speak to that.
Yeah, no. So the CSO separation is, so you have two choices to meet the environmental.
I know what the CSO bond
And
is.
so, no, you can, no, the old bonds were only for 3, and we have 3 more coming up. We have 6 CSOs to separate. And so these are state requirement. Now, the separation is not the only option. You can build a containment like Dearborn did, and then prevent, so the idea is to prevent contamination from getting into the drinking water. That's the idea. Now, how you achieve it? The best way to achieve it is the CSO separation. Because, and so we're trying to meet the letter of the law. Everyone who did a containment ended up coming back and doing the separation. Dearborn did on Michigan Avenue behind what used to be the Chicago Roadhouse. So the way to address it going forward, due to environmental concerns, is to separate them. Now, we're trying to find a way to separate them at the least financial impact to the city. And that's what we're trying to do. Let's continue with the rest. Lead service line.
So to get the grant, you have to do these loans with the state. 50%, they're low interest, they can be longer term. That leaves a gap on these last 2. Now, we were actually worried that the state was going to make you take out $20 million in loans on that $20 million in grants. That's not the case, because they were able to use this under other funding. So the gap can come from cash that you have, whether it's ARPA, whether it's from your existing capital improvement bond. That was very important. We didn't want you to have to go out and take $20 million to get $20 million in debt. So that was a good and positive development. So where do you get this from? There's different ways you can do this. This is what Mr. Dibb kind of is thinking as far as the cashier, and you can speak to that.
Yeah, so what we try to do is to figure out a way to pay our local share for all these upcoming projects with 2 ways. One, using the remaining funds from the bond, the original bond of 2021, which is currently money in the bank, obviously.
7.7. Is that the 7.7?
7709812, that's an accurate number of remaining dollars. Obviously, those dollars remaining from the old bonds were not enough to do the 2 projects we have, but now we're using that as a local share since it's already money. And then in addition to that, we took $2,387,473 from the ARPA funds, which is infrastructure related, to make up the 10097. So that's our cash projection, the cash needs to meet our local, and it took a lot of thinking, because every pile or every bucket of money has its own requirement of what it can and cannot be used for. So, and they all have different deadlines. So when I say, and I know Michelle is going to talk about that later, obligating this, the ARPA money is critical, because we're under, by the end of this year, it has to be obligated, or it goes back to the feds. So we are not going to leave a dollar on the table. We have a lot of needs, and especially on the capital side, and then we'll go through this. So the financial,
Real quick, I'm sorry, Mr. Deeb, I know you're giving the presentation. I don't mean to annoy you.
No,
but I'm
no,
asking
I'm
a
not
question.
annoyed. I wanted to present it.
Yeah, I think this is a great idea, and I'm 100% in favor of that, but my question is this. Because will this cover the water meters? And I'm going to ask you this question 3 times before you give me an answer. Will this cover the water meters? Will this cover the water meters? Will this cover the water meters? And I ask you this because this is the same question that we asked in 2021, regarding the water meters, and we're in 2024, and we still don't got water meters. So I can't be easy on this one. This is something that we've been being promised
I'm gonna
and
give-
promised and promised and promised, and I know you're doing your best. But here we are, here's another thing that we're being told, a water meter is gonna potentially be coming to help residents alleviate those high water costs, because I just received my bill, and guess what? My sewage consumption is more than my water usage. How is that possible?
I'm going to give you the same answer I gave you before, and that is, yes, you did have the water meter on the list of projects. We did not have enough cash to do it.
Well, we do our water meters before we do anything else
This
now.
plan, the project that I listed on the first couple of slides, those are the projects that we target under this plan.
Which one are we
And
gonna
the
start with
water
first?
meters,
They all,
I'm gonna be honest with you, because you know what happened? We said we were gonna do water meters, we did 5 projects, and we said we don't got enough money for water meters. We're saying we're gonna do more water meters, give us this more money to allocate it, we're gonna do these projects, then we're gonna get to the water meters, oh, we still don't got any more money.
Council
It's the same
Chair.
song and
So
dance.
under the DWSRF, the water projects that are identified here, there's 3 of them, they fall under the veil. We are allowed 2 years to do it with a possible extension for 3 years. The water meter replacement is going to take all of that because it's citywide. The fact is that we're going through the process with both the L41 sewer separation, which that construction is due to start in the spring of 2025. If we go through, if you guys approve of this and we go through the DWSRF process, we will begin construction or have the capacity to begin construction on all 3 of these projects in November of this year.
Yeah,
Council Chair.
And they'll be happening
I'm
simultaneously
gonna say one last thing, then I'm gonna have you
with
go
the
next.
other, with the L41 projects.
If we
So
do
that's
approve
4
these projects, I'm gonna ask that, Mr. Deeb and Madam Clerk, I want you to stay on top of this one, and the mayor and Roger, that we're gonna approve them separately, one by one. We're not approving all 3 at once. Because what I don't wanna see is we're working on one project, we're tearing up the ground, something's happening, and then the job's not completed, but then we're going on to the next job. So because then we're gonna approve the water meters. This is the 4th time we've approved our water meters, just so you know. I know Mr. Deeb is nodding his head and he's not happy with what I'm
Well,
saying, but
under
I can
the-
tell you, once, please. What I can tell you is, same way Mr. Deeb is nodding his head, every person that's received their water bill since 2001 has been nodding their head. And so to me, it's like, we're not just gonna keep saying yes, 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 and nothing is being done. And you have to understand there needs to be a shared frustration here. People, we're getting the calls. Mayor, how many phone calls do you get on your water bill? Do you get a lot of, that's just a yes or no, do you get a lot of water bill phone calls?
Well, I mean, we need to answer, okay, so again, this thing has been kicked down the road for.
That was
at
the
least 10
CSO bond, we stopped kicking it
No,
down.
no,
the road.
I
We fixed the
understand, but
L40.
even the water meters for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay, the last 10 years. I can tell you, I've talked to several mayors in both the CWW conference and also the DCC. Most cities are already up to speed on the CSO projects. Okay, our city, that stuff should have been done. If we would have done it where we're supposed to do it, it would have been less than half the cost. Okay, we met with.
Same thing with our water meters.
No, okay. Can I finish, Council
Yeah,
Chair?
yeah, you
Okay,
can.
so we met with Eagle. Okay, it's a mandate by the state. We have to do the CSO projects. It's not like if, it's like you have to do it. Okay, I met with EPA in Washington DC twice,
Nice.
trying to figure out, a way that we can prolong this project, and I talked to Mr. Deeb about the same thing. Because what they're putting on the city, the burden on the city, and trying to get us to bond for about 60 to 70 million dollars. Okay, we told them that the city cannot come up with that kind of money. So right now, at this point, even with the water meters, I mean, I was there when we talked about water meters back in 21. When I was on council in 20, when we talked about water meters, from my understanding, even back in the then, I know Councilwoman Malinowski, Councilman Wenzel, and Councilman Constant was on council at that time. We were told at that time, which they never actually got a bid for the water meters. They estimated, it was an estimated cost, if you guys remember. I think they estimated $7-8 million at that
More than
time.
that, yeah.
Yeah, so they estimated, again, they never went out for bid. And I can tell you one thing, right now, with everything, going on, I'm kind of glad that we kind of waited for the water meters because there's been so much technology that has been floating. Again, I've been talking to all the mayors from different cities, And we're gonna get best-in-class water meters. Because if we would have gotten the water meters, I mean, one of the good blessings for waiting for water meters, that we would have been obsolete with the water meters that we would have purchased back in '21. Because a lot of cities are actually regretting what they put back in the day. Because, I mean, one good example, they're putting the batteries inside the house, and some residents, they won't allow the city workers to go and change the batteries, and guess what? It's free water for them, because they're not allowing people to go in and change the batteries. So this is the lessons learned. So there's a lot of things, again, this thing has been kicked down the road for many, many years, more than 10 years, way before any of us in here, and we're trying to fix it. And this is, again, mandated by the state of Michigan. So we either do it, or they're gonna step in and make us do it at their expense. Whatever expense that they
So,
come
Mr.
up
Deeb,
with.
I'm gonna go back. So if you're gonna bring up any of these projects, I'd like to see them brought up to us separately, not all three at once.
Council Chair?
That's, at least for myself, that's where I'm gonna stand on this. I'm not gonna be being told what's happening, and the council doesn't have any oversight on it. Real quick, 1 second, Vag, I'm so sorry. Go ahead,
So
Council.
I got a few questions.
Mayor, you're next.
Number one is that if we decide to go with the water and use ARPA money and all that, if it's ever gonna come to us, it has to be restricted funds. It cannot be used for anything else, Mr. Deeb.
Yes.
Just because any other thing that we do, anything pops up, the money's being circulated on. Second question I have is, with the loans that we're gonna pool, it's gonna be a burden back to the residents on anything we change when,
So is the bond. The bond is the burden.
and we're paying for it clearly, but to get more loans to lower their water bills a couple $100, it's gonna increase their taxes just as amount on any loan we get and we pay back.
So the low interest loan the state is offering is 2% for 20 to 40 years.
We're still paying it.
I know, but so there is a local share that the city will have to absorb. That local share constitute, we're combining all our money from ARPA, from the old bond, to try to minimize the loan effort, but there's still gonna be a local share. You're putting $50 million worth of project, you will have a local share.
And I completely respect that. My thing is though, is that when you guys were here a few months ago saying, we got great news, the water meters are covered 100%, the state approved us 100%, the money's coming. Now we're at 50%, we're using ARPA money and getting loans. Again, the frustration is shared both ways. My thing is that, are these projects gonna be aligned together? Because every single one of them, has to tear up the street and tear up lawns and stuff. Are you gonna be done together accordingly, or we're gonna start with the CSO, then come back, do the lines? Or is it just we're gonna tear it up,
Totally different.
everything once?
So the blue, highlighted blue are the water service line, the lead line, which is also a requirement after Flint. We have to replace the lead line service line. And then we also have to replace the water meters. So these are the two projects that we elected to mix together, so we can minimize access and disruption and all that stuff. The water main out on the street, no, it's a separate project. So that's a street. And then on this particular project, we're minimizing disrupting pavement. We're doing pipe bursting for the most part. So we're gonna go pipe inside a pipe. So yes, they haven't been designed. Please understand, this is a overall plan of finance. We haven't designed and built anything. We're meeting all the requirements for the state grant, so we can stay on top of them. All the requirements, the deadline are met. But this is a finance plan. This is not a plan of action. We're not out constructing yet. I'm presenting the plan of finance to give you an idea where the money is going and what projects we're doing and the timeline. And there's additional stuff that will.
So my other question is
request a
that,
study session by itself? I mean, it's
I
already
We
been
need a
happening.
study session.
But why,
I
it
did.
shouldn't be on a council meeting.
Yeah, this should
It's-
be a study
Everybody's
session.
waiting, we're off the
Let's move
agenda.
it to a study session.
I did.
You did? So it was scheduled on a
It was
council meeting.
supposed
It was given to me at a short notice. Hey, I wanna present this to the council. I said, okay, I'll let you just do it in the beginning of the council meeting.
Yeah, this
Anything
is too
goes
long.
in
This
the-
is a study session.
You want to continue with that? All right.
So I think there's something that's very important that everybody needs to understand relating to the three projects that fall under the DWSRF guidelines. They're all subject to the same milestone schedule that you have to follow. It's a very tight timeline. If it's not met, you simply won't get the funding that you have available on the table for you. You have a submittal that's due this Friday that we've been working on to keep you in compliance in order to be able to take advantage of these funds. So that's the first submittal of several that have to occur in order for this to all be authorized.
Why do we wait
by-
so long? Why are we being told that there's a deadline this Friday? Why do we always have to say the state's gonna come after us? This is the deadline. If you don't do it, the state's gonna shut you down. Why are we always being fear-mongering that we have to do certain things based on what the state's telling us? Then we hear about it on Tuesday for Friday.
Well, I can speak to some of that. You just received the funding. Some of this funding was just provided in the past month. You had an opportunity
Hit
to
our
accept
account?
it. Well, no, the opportunity to accept it was presented in the past month. So it's on short notice, some of it.
So we had a month though,
We had a month,
to bring it over here.
and here we are at deadline.
Deadline's Friday. State's gonna shut you down. If you don't do it today, you gotta see the frustration here. You can't, council can't keep being strong-armed by saying, this needs to happen. If this doesn't happen, the state's gonna shut you down. State's gonna come in and do it at their cost.
That was a
State's trying to tell us they're gonna give us money. Why would the state tell us it's gonna cost us a lot more money?
Let's just end it. Okay.
There's always a match. There's always a.
I agree with the match. I'm all for the 10 million, not for that.
We're good.
But let's
Thank
go
you,
ahead. We can, is that done with the?
Done.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Very good. Just cancel.
All right, guys. Next up is the agenda approval.
Council Chair,
Councilman Saab.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the amended agenda for the regular meeting of March 12, 2024 with amendment to item 13B to include the food truck license for the application for the Beefy Cow LLC as submitted.
Second.
Support.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any other discussion on this? I actually have. I'd like to table 7C. This is for the digital license plate. I know was brought to us beforehand. We said we were gonna get a grant. There's nothing here about a grant. So until we can actually get a little bit more information, I'd like that item tabled. Councilman, if you'd like to amend that motion.
Council Chair, I actually would like a few items also to be on there.
This is the agenda, this is not the minutes.
Not the claims.
Not the claims.
Okay.
This is just on the agenda.
Right, but.
Do you have agenda items that you want to be tabled?
Something's wrong with that. You're at 7C, right? See, it doesn't show the numbers.
Here. Which item?
Yeah, I know. I was wondering if that.
Okay, that's fine, then I'll leave it on. Councilman Ahmad said we can take it to discussion, then we can make a vote on it there since it's already been on the
I
agenda.
want to put down a discussion.
Well, let's wait till it gets there.
Let's go ahead.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Next up, we have approval of the minutes.
Council Chair,
Councilman
I
Ahmad.
move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the minutes for the regular meeting of February 29, 2024 as submitted.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, second by Councilwoman Menalowski Maxwell. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Next up, we have the minutes from the special meeting of March 5th, 2024.
Council Chair,
Councilman Saab.
I make a motion that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the minutes from the special meeting of March 5th, 2024 as submitted.
Motion made by Councilman Saab.
Support.
Motion seconded by Councilwoman Menalowski Maxwell. Any discussion on that? Hearing none. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Next up, we have public hearing and comments on agenda items only. This is regarding agenda items only. Anybody have any comments on agenda item only? Seeing none. Anything on Zoom? Oh. Thank you, sir. Please state your name, the city you reside in, the street you live on. No need for the digits of the address.
My name is Tim Gilbert. I live on Nancy Street in the city of Westland. I'm also a business owner here in this, well, actually in the city of Dearborn.
I'm sorry, what?
Has he turned this on?
1 second. We gotta get with this. All right, go ahead.
Again, my name is Tim Gilbert. I live on Nancy Street in the city of Westland. I have a business here in the city of Dearborn on Michigan Avenue. I'm here representing Coda Group, who's been on your agenda several times now and has been declined to be paid on a bill. I'm here to answer any questions that you guys may have. I've been in business for 18 years, many different chambers, including your chamber here in the city of Dearborn Heights. I'm asking for the approval on the item. Our services have been provided. We've done well. We provided the services as we were asked. We were contacted by the Dearborn Heights Police Department to do this work, and I'll answer any questions if any. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Tim, I want you to know nothing is personal, but we have a process in the city of Dearborn Heights. You go out for bids, you get 3 bids, then the council chose those 3 bids, and then they explain as to why they chose a certain, if it had to be quota or whatnot. We didn't go through that process. There's no documentation that we went through that process. So all we've said to the administration, to the police department is go through that process. What we will do is we'll honor whomever they choose. We've never said we're not going to choose a certain individual. I don't think you and I have ever met. I don't think you and anybody on here have ever met.
No, sir.
So there'd be no reason for anybody here to, shut down Coda. But all that this council body is saying is that we want proper policy and procedure. So it's nothing personal, nothing against you. You can come as many times as you want, but if we don't go through the proper policy and procedure, then we're going to be, we're going to be bending the laws, going against the charter. And we've all sworn that oath.
Council Chair?
Councilman,
This is not part of the agenda. This is a current claim. That's not considered part of the agenda.
but I'm going to tell you, it's also,
7B?
yeah, it's on there, guys. Regardless, it is. It's on the agenda.
7B?
Yeah. And it's not just on the agenda. It's a discussion that's been talked about for the last 4 meetings. So I'm definitely going to allow the man Tim to get up here and speak. I hope you stop this time. Any other discussion?
I do, Council Chair.
Councilman Saab.
I do have to look in the contract, and I've said this before, and I'd like this to be put on the record. Just for the record, sir, I've never met you, you've never met me, and I know you provide a service to the city. Is there a conflict with anybody in the city or in the police department?
Absolutely not, sir.
You don't know anybody from the police department before you applied for this contract or put in this contract?
The question is, do I know anybody?
Yes.
I do.
Okay. And who do you know, sir?
I can't tell you all their names, probably 10 to 20 of your officers, other officers, other city officials. I don't know all of them, to be honest with you. I was a Detroit police officer. My family is vested into the police department across the state of Michigan,
And I
from
respect that.
Westland to Sterling Heights to Clinton Township, all across the state of Michigan.
Thank you for your services, by the way.
So, thank you, I appreciate that.
No problem. So my question is to you is there a conflict, and I'll bluntly say this, between you and interim Chief Swope?
No, there's not.
There's no friendship between you outside of the police department?
I've met Mr. Swope maybe twice in my entire 49 years on this earth.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
No.
Real quick, sir, if you don't mind me. Also, we do have a signed contract by the mayor's office. I'm not sure if you're aware of that or if they provide it with you, but I can provide that with you today if you guys don't have that from Mr.
We know,
Mayor's office.
but the council has never concurred with. Madam Clerk, can you speak on that a little bit? Just, by the way, we just want to fill you in. Maybe you're not getting both sides.
You're okay,
If you're
go
not
ahead.
hearing, everything that's actually taking place. Or if you've watched the council meetings or not. But Madam Clerk, if you can give a quick synopsis of what's basically the proper policy and procedure and why we haven't moved forward with the Coda Group.
Just that they needed to go out to bid or at least provide that information to the council prior to them approving claims.
Thank you.
Council Chair?
Councilman Wenzel.
I don't know who could answer this, but is there a state limit about how much you can charge for a subpoena? Mandated limit?
No, there's not, sir.
There's no limit.
No, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. And just again, I can't state it enough. We have fulfilled our services to the city. There's a signed contract from the mayor's office. Whether council approves it or not, I think it should move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments on current claims?
Agenda items?
sorry.
Agenda items. It's fasting, you're okay.
Fasting, it's Ramadan.
You're okay.
The beefy
It's the
cow.
second day, you're okay. Rachel Lapointe, Merrick Street, Dearborn Heights. Regarding the Coda Group item on the agenda, I think that this illustrates a point that I brought up before, that apparently if the mayor can sign a service contract, as our corporation council has kind of implied at different times, I believe, and I asked directly about this, can he sign a service contract and you guys are obligated to pay it when it comes on the claims without you ever knowing we contracted with that person? That's the situation we're in right now. Even if they went out for bids privately, they never brought it to council, not once before a claim was submitted. So right now, it looks like, you know, are we going to be stuck paying it? I don't know. That's up to you guys. Have fun figuring that one out. More importantly to me, I'm very concerned about the cell hawk thing, 9C. I am extremely concerned about this, and I'm just going to call out the elephant in the room because I'm not part of any of these lawsuits. There's political drama happening, and this tool could be used by people who are currently suing the city to see where someone that they are suing spends their days. The second you walk in this building with your cell phone, they could figure out, oh, that's Mo's cell phone. Now we know we can track him all around wherever he goes. Am I saying they'd do that? Absolutely not. Not saying anybody's doing anything untoward, but considering the situation, I do not think it would be prudent to approve this until things have settled down. And when it comes back up, I would recommend first coming up with a very good ordinance and policy to make sure that anytime that tool is used, we're doing it with a warrant and probable cause.
Thank you. I second all that. I read it too. All right. Any other comments from on agenda items only? Come on through, sir. This is agenda items only. Fadda. It's like a water bill. Water bill?
Good evening, everybody, and happy Ramadan. It's
Ramadan.
about water bill, yes.
Okay, so this is on agenda items only?
I really don't understand.
It's okay, it's okay.
It'll be okay?
You're
Because I
gonna be-
talked to Mr. Saab and said, show up and. you
Okay,
know,
so you're gonna actually speak at the end of the meeting. You can,
Sure.
public
Public
comment, I'm
comment.
sorry.
No problem.
Forgive us.
Sorry.
It's okay, you can sit up right here. All right, any other comments on agenda items only? I think we have Mr. Disham's hand is up. Is it regarding an agenda item?
Yes, Council Chair.
All right.
Can you hear
Are
me?
you speaking as a resident or are you speaking as an employee of the city?
As a director of the department, I wanted to speak on 9A briefly. I really appreciate the support. It just is, it's a little confusing. We're in the beginning of budget talks. I have another meeting coming up, I believe, at the end of the month. I know there are several other departments that are looking to add staff. So I am requesting more staff. So I just wanted to say that I appreciate the support, but this is the first time, to my knowledge, that this has happened where we've had a motion like this. And I understand and I respect the Mr. Councilman Wenzel's position. I appreciate the support, but it's a little confusing. That's all. That's all I wanted to say. Again, I appreciate the support.
Mr. Dishum?
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Mr. Dishum? I know
Yes.
about a year ago, you and I spoke, and there was a couple of things that we talked about, like you need to remember the new cage for the animals. Another thing that you said you needed more staff members, people that are not part-time. Has that changed now, you're saying?
No, sir, not at all. I'm in negotiation, or not negotiations, budget talks. I know that there are other departments that are looking to add people. And I actually requested staff as well. I guess I'm a little confused by the motion. I understand it.
The motion is Councilman Wenzel is saying he wants to offer more help for you so that the city can reduce its amount of blight. Are you saying you don't need that?
Okay, no, I'm not. I just saw it's out, I feel like it's confusing is all I'm saying, because normally during budget times, people make their requests, the department heads make their requests, and the administration does what they think is necessary to add the positions. No, I appreciate the support. I said that before.
Council
And
Chair.
I'm asking for people.
Thank you.
Council Chair.
Thank you.
Director, you had mentioned that, did you ask the administration for more help with the new budget?
Yes.
So
I
for
asked,
how many-
I asked
how
for
many-
more,
How many
I asked for
positions?
more employees. I'm
How many,
sorry.
how many positions?
Actually, 4.
4 positions? That would be
Yes.
all ordinance officers, correct?
Full-time.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm not, a deputy director actually as well, because of the number of people without getting into the budget, because of the number of staff that I have.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is there are other, I had added people last year and others didn't. So I know there's other considerations. I think there's about 24 additional positions that they want to fill in various other departments. And like I said, we rely on the administration to make those decisions. I appreciate the support. I'm not trying to knock it. I'm just saying this is a little unorthodox, but I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank
Director.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Any
you,
other
Council Chair.
comments on agenda items only? Great. Hearing none, we're going to move over to fund transfers and current claims.
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve current claims and ACH wire transfers 6-1 through 6-56 as submitted.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Constant. Do we have any discussion? Councilman Saab.
I would like to put off items 51, 52.
Hang on, 1 second. Can you
Is
see
your
what
mic
they are?
on?
Turn on your mic. No, it's not. Now it's on.
Yes.
51, 52.
So hold on, let me go back.
55?
Nope, 1 second. So 51 CODA, 52 CODA, 53 SMIP, 56. I just want to know about this. When was this approved?
I don't have a 56. It stops at 55.
No, 56. For tuition, it was moved.
It was moved?
Yeah, it was reassigned from 9B to 56.
Yeah.
50. Okay. So it's not, I don't have it on my, it's not on my, your mic.
9B, sorry. It's 9B on the amended agenda. I was asked to, we were
Okay.
asked to move it
Well,
to
there is a
claims.
56.
So it's taken from the agenda from 9B to be 56, correct?
Correct.
How much is that in total? Read me your numbers again. 51, 52,
53,
53,
56,
56,
and I got 7A.
7?
No, that's,
I mean, we'll do consideration of bids after.
No, yeah, we're talking numbers here. Okay. I know Plant Moran left us. Mr. Maybe Deeb, maybe you can speak on this, or our new comptroller maybe. I have a couple of questions regarding Plant Moran. Seems like we're giving them close to almost, a little over 100,000, almost 200,
180.
almost $200,000 to Plant Moran, which is great. I know they're reconciling our books, and if you look at the items, it says the same exact thing, reconciling of the bank accounts from November 8th to January 27th, reconciling the bank accounts from, this date to this date, and nothing's detail oriented. It's just the same exact text. That's maybe 2 lines, 2 sentences, and it's 180. I wish I could put on 2 sentences, and I'm sure they're doing great work. But nothing's being detail oriented to this body. I'm not saying that I'm not going to approve this, but what I'm saying is administration, mayor, $200,000, that's a lot of money. And, we have a full-time comptroller, we just gave a full raise to a deputy comptroller, and then we're paying $2 million to Plant Moran Gap.
And Council Chair, I do agree that Plant Moran is doing a fantastic job. But I also agree that we need to detail the invoices. I've made the request. They said that their billing department will update their invoices moving forward. Unfortunately, that does not help us with the ones in the past, but it will help us moving forward. I've asked for the individual's name that's working for the city, how many hours they work for the city, the hourly rate that they are billing the city.
I know the hourly rate.
And I know it's blended, but I want it on the invoice. And the other thing that should be on the invoice is a description of the work being done. And I've requested that. They've agreed that they would manage, or they would bring that information to me on all new invoices. Unfortunately, we have these series of invoices from the past, many of them from November, December of last year. that they don't have that level of detail.
Do you have like an oversight or maybe a time plan? I know we said that they were supposed to be part-time for 6 months, then it was gonna 9. Now we're at like since
Almost 2 years now.
2.5 years now going on. We're still with us. Do we have a plan on when we're gonna eliminate them?
We do have a plan, Council Chair, but it also depends on the work that's being done. We have a couple of projects that we're working on that Plant is actually an expert in. And from a individual who's just newly working with the city, I would recommend that we keep them for those programs because they do have expertise. They work with not only Dearborn Heights, but they also work with other cities in.
Plant Moran's at the top.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you don't gotta tell me. Plant
Okay.
Moran is at the top. All I'm asking is, the city has taken the burden of a lot of money. This is taxpayers' money. And we told them we're only gonna be here for 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. We're well over 24 months. And we're well over $2-3 million. If I needed to really go through this,
It's hefty.
It's a lot of money. And nothing, like, I'm approving something right now from Plant Moran PLLC for $48,495, and I can't tell you why. Nothing is detailed on there.
Council Chair.
So to me, I'm bothered because I have a fiduciary duty to the city and to the residents. I'm telling the residents, I'm gonna take your money, I'm gonna tell you how it's gonna be spent, and I'll make sure it's gonna be spent properly. Here, I'd be lying to my residents today if I said, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and approve that. And I know it's not you, I know it's, this is something that just, we've kind of allowed to happen.
And Council Chair, I share the same burden.
I agree. I
that's
love your
why-
answers, by the way. You're giving me great answers. I
Well,
swear.
and
I just don't want to come back in 2 weeks and we're going to see the same thing. And you're like, hey,
We're not going to do that because I've already had a conversation and they're already working to change the invoices.
you're a good man. Thank you for that.
Council Chair.
Councilman Ahmad.
I'm sorry, Mr. Comptroller, you mentioned something that did bother me too. Like, you're saying they cannot provide information for the past few months. They're Plant Moran, they audit cities, they audit big corporations. Now they can't go back 3-4 months and tell us exactly what they did. Council Chair, I would really like to table this until we have more information.
And
about
I'm
all
not
these
saying,
invoices.
I want to stop us because I'm not saying they can't.
You just.
I said their commitment was to go forward.
Well,
I
they
didn't say
made a lot
could
of money. They better go back and
I like
give us
that.
some
You know what? I want to
information.
support that.
Yeah.
I want to support, because you know what? Once I think you hold their money, I think they're going to realize, all right, you know what? They're looking in and they're serious. And look, that's a lot of money. And I'm not, look, I have to tell you, Councilman, Plant Moran is like prestigious.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they should be on top of their game. I mean, they should provide good invoices. I mean, enough is enough. Let's table those and see what happens the next 2
So
weeks.
what numbers are those, Councilman? 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41?
Yes.
Yep.
So we're going to table from 35 to 41.
All right, thank you.
And please ask them for detailed invoices.
I will do that. I will
The
go
staff
sit
is a
down
great
and
staff.
craft the
I'm sure
email.
they will.
I know you've just been here not even a month, but you're doing great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councilman Saab?
I was just gonna say, with all this money we're spending on them, can we hire more people into the comptroller's office?
That was the plan, Councilman.
Couple more assistants, accountants, whatever you need. That's just insane what we're paying them monthly.
Correct. It is my understanding that we did hire a deputy comptroller. He started a week before I did. And that's part of the reason why I believe Council
did
Chair
hire
is
somebody?
saying, I'm sorry?
We hired a deputy comptroller?
I did not, but he was hired a week before I got here.
Thank you
So
for
when I
letting us
got
know.
here, he was already here.
Yeah.
And
Thanks for the
so-
update.
Thank you for the update.
But Council Chair, I think that just
he
further
working now?
validates
I don't know.
your statement, is that we
So
should
is
be
he in
doing
the
more
city
of those
now?
things
Is he,
inside.
he's been working in the? Is
Correct.
he in your office?
Correct,
Yeah, he's working?
correct,
Amazing.
But
Would
could
be
you
nice
use
to
any,
meet 'em.
could you use more? That was what I'm saying.
correct.
So why don't we just why don't we limit Plant Moran and just issue,
Well, again, my point with Plant Moran is that we have these projects that we're working on that they're experts in. Hiring somebody new to come in that may or may not be an expert is a different conversation.
maybe at the next meeting, you could bring in the deputy comptroller so we can meet him.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Or her, I'm sorry. Okay.
What's his name, if you don't mind me asking?
James.
James Gilmore?
James Gilmore?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, Mr. Gilmore. I wish we knew sooner.
It must be not important as probably the emergency
Thank you.
director.
Thank you.
Wow, there's a lot going on here.
All right, so I got to amend it?
Nothing going on.
Yeah, amending with 51, 52, 53, 55, 56, 35, 40, 35 through 41. You have those all written?
So, yeah, so we're amending, removing 51, 52, 53, 56, and we're tabling 35 through 41.
What about Ogletree?
So the
55.
56.
I know, 55 is Ogletree.
And so is 54
So they're still billing us.
at 275. And their contract was.
No, it's the Olga tree, it is
Yeah.
27.
But, yeah, their contract was for the term 2 years ago, it was a 1-year term.
Yeah.
It's, unless we cancel it.
Then can we put a motion to cancel the
We're
contract?
gonna do it to the next meeting. We don't have to cancel theirs, we just have to ask them to amend their payment, or they can.
So do you want to table those two?
No, we can go ahead and pay them since that's what the council, I mean, what the current.
Madam Clerk, did you get my,
No, we're going to ask you to repeat it.
Madam Clerk, I'm gonna give them to you real quick. 51, 52, 53, 56, 35 through 41.
that's tabled, 35 through
They're gonna
41.
be set aside. So we're gonna amend the,
We're going to remove them from this agenda.
Yes.
yes.
From the claims, correct, to be,
And
not
that
to be
motion
paid.
was made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Constant. Councilman Constant, are you seconding that?
No, that motion was made by me, seconded by Councilman,
That's correct.
Correct.
Transfers and current claims was Ahmad.
no,
No, no.
me.
Yeah, no, it was me.
No, it was Ahmad and Constant,
Yeah,
guys.
correct.
I have it written here.
Me too.
Okay.
It's the first.
You second that amendment?
Yes.
All right. Any other discussion?
Council Chair,
Yeah, Mayor?
again, we keep going back and forth on this. We did follow the charter, and we did provide you with 3 quotes, for the service. And you guys are, again, for the third time, you guys are rejecting this. It is per charter, and we discussed that several times. I know somebody put a motion or whatever that somebody did before last year, but the charter says what it says, and we did follow the charter, and we got 3 quotes. We had to get 3 quotes. Again, we provided it twice and Coda came in as the cheapest. And we did follow the process, and you guys are rejecting it again, for the third time, removing it off the agenda. Those services were needed. We have to serve several people. As you can see, we had a list of the service that they provided. So this is not fair that the service was provided and the quotes were already provided to you guys. And they were the cheapest.
Council Chair.
We provided it twice.
Let him finish.
Council Chair.
Okay,
Hang on,
and the
guys.
other
Let me
thing,
finish.
and again, you guys, okay, every employee of the city, full-time employee can get their education paid. So now, again, I don't know why you're removing those 2 for training,
By the way,
again.
I don't think he's removing for,
No, I am.
oh.
Yeah, so again, if you guys remove that, this is retaliation, again, I'm gonna put on
Council Chair,
record.
please.
Council Chair,
Hey,
please.
let him go, stop, point of order, let the mayor finish.
Okay, this is retaliation, because every employee
Mayor,
of the
please,
city.
I'm gonna ask you to refrain from saying that, because I'm gonna
Well,
tell you,
Council Chair.
Yeah.
Everybody in the city has their tuitions
how come we've
paid.
never seen anybody's?
I've seen it many, many times.
Where?
Every employee has the right to go to school and get an education, and the city encourages people to get an education, get training. Why now one person is, you guys are doing this?
I'm gonna
That's all
answer that, I'm
say.
gonna answer that for you, just to the, Mr. Swope, can you step up to the podium real quick? Just to show you that there's no retaliation here, because I have it in an email between me and Mr. Swope. I'm gonna ask you some real quick questions, Mr. Swope. Actually, it was Councilman Ahmad that asked these questions with you, and we have them in the email that was stated.
Actually, it was on record, Council Chair. I made it clear, Interim Chief, that last
you for
time
coming
that
up, by the way.
we needed the timestamp approval from the mayor before those classes are scheduled.
And you agreed.
It wasn't in the backup.
Don't know what to tell you. I have it right here.
Great.
Is this timestamp?
Yeah, it's dated, it's signed. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Did you hand it to the administration to submit?
I handed it to our secretary to upload into the system.
Civic Pro?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Everything you guys have asked me to do, I've done since I've been here, so I don't think, this should be an issue.
Did I see that?
This is just a request. You're requesting from the mayor, but doesn't say the mayor okayed it and time stamped it at
Well,
that
that's when
time.
he signed it.
The same day?
acknowledging it.
Look, guys, I'm all for somebody to go in for education. Man's bringing this here for us. It's not timestamped. I'm not gonna be the person that's gonna nitpick, because then the mayor's gonna go back and say it's retaliation. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not retaliation.
It's retaliation.
I disagree with you on
Okay,
that.
all right, that's
you know?
fine.
That we can agree.
All
to-
these items that were dismissed off this agenda were my items, right? They're items that someone believes I have a relationship with someone that I don't even know, right? So this person, this citizen, this business owner is being retaliated against also for being associated with me,
Yeah.
right?
You're entitled, you can feel that way.
Oh, that's fine, I know I do.
Yeah.
But you've paid CODA, August 15th of '23, August 21st of '23,
Yeah.
December 6th of
It wasn't
23.
brought to us until recently that we
Also-
didn't approve of it.
And let me tell you, let me tell you something.
Hang on, Roger, please.
Let me advise you on why we
Brother,
needed
this, I don't want to go back and forth on the
Okay,
quota or.
I'm letting you know.
Yeah.
You guys have
Stem
removed
up.
this man's payments several different times.
Yeah.
All right, and let me tell you why the mayor had to sign an emergency order to get the service done.
Great,
Okay?
so the mayor, so you're saying the mayor didn't go out for,
No. I asked for.
You have the 3 quotes, Council Chair.
I don't have them.
I sent it to you twice, Council.
I don't have them.
Look at it again.
It's in the supporting
what happened.
document.
Guys, by the way, point of order, guys, nothing, please. You want to do it, let's go to the council chair. Thank you. When the mayor, when you were speaking and they were trying to interrupt you, I also asked them to stop.
Yeah,
So
but
please, let's not be emotional.
But Council Chair, when you told
Please,
me
point
you
of order.
don't send it, I did send it.
Please, point of order. Thank you.
I'm gonna pull up the date
This-
right now.
This is how this happened, okay? The court had complaints that witnesses weren't being subpoenaed, they weren't showing up for court. That's a big issue. Obviously, it's a big issue because it involves several amendments to the U.S. Constitution, right? The 14th Amendment, the 6th Amendment, and the 7th Amendment. Those are things you don't want to play around with. It gets you sued, okay? So we had
We've
to
been
make sure.
sued so many times, man.
Yeah.
We're being sued by our
Right.
own
And-
administration.
And I don't play like that, okay?
Yeah.
So what I did, I said, listen, we have to resolve a problem because our defendants have a right to a speedy trial. They have a right to confront their witnesses, right? And if the city doesn't act, and we don't have months to figure this out because every defendant that doesn't have a speedy trial and can't confront a witness has a case against the city, okay? So this is what happened, all right? The court had an issue with it. All right, so we're like, okay, we have to resolve this issue. Okay, so what we did, I went out and found 3 companies that could provide services. I got information.
Who'd you submit
I
them to?
picked the best one. What's that?
Who did you submit them to? Did you
I
ever
submit-
submit
I
them to the
submitted
clerk's
to-
office?
The first person that went, the first person that I went to was Roger. Okay, the second person I went to was the mayor, who then signed it. Okay, so we looked at 3 different people, and then we picked one. We had to get this done. We had to get people served. We had to get witnesses into court.
I
because
agree. Listen,
It's a big deal, okay?
Yeah.
I don't know Mr. Gilbert, okay? Just because I worked in Westland and he, has people that work in Westland, doesn't mean I know him. Right? No, I know. I've been accused of it several different times by Mr. Saab, Councilman Saab, all right? And it's defamatory, it's retaliatory.
Nice.
And it's horrible that you're putting this gentleman through it. I'm fine, I get paid to take the heat. But that guy right there, he didn't do anything wrong,
Great.
right? So we need to approve
We're talking
these
about the timestamp right now, though. We're not
Okay.
talking about what
We're talking, okay.
we're discussing this.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
well, that's fine. So
Yeah.
if you don't want to approve it, don't approve it, and I'll just add it, okay?
Council
That's fine.
Chair.
I've done what I was supposed to do.
By the way, I'm being respectful
Okay.
with you.
And so am I.
Yeah. You seem like you're frustrated right now. I'm the
I'm
one
not
telling you, I'm
frustrated.
all for,
Hey, all right, then
following this
sign
stuff.
it
And
and
if you
approve it,
follow the
call it a
stuff,
day.
that's great.
Approve it, call
The
it a day.
councilman is saying, has it been timestamped by the mayor? That's
Council
the
Chair, may I
discussion. This
see
isn't
it?
about not
Please.
wanting to pay for the
Roger,
schooling.
through the chair, please.
I believe every single time that you've brought this forward, one, we've approved your
I'm asking you,
tuition.
Saab. I'm
You've never had tuition denied. We've had
Council
questions.
Chair, Council Chair,
Chair,
you
may I
want to tell me shut up on the
Council
record,
Chair,
please?
I didn't tell
Hold
you
on
to
a
shut
second,
up.
hold on.
Come on.
Council Chair, may I see that?
Do you want to tell me, sir, shut up on the record, please? Come on up.
Roger,
Come on, Director, come on up and say shut up to me on the record.
Can you just stop for a second?
I
Council
hope you
Chair.
didn't tell him to
He
shut
did
up.
tell me shut up.
Council Chair,
Point of
may I see the,
Please, guys, Roger, hang on one second. Please. Sir, I hope you're not telling the councilman to shut up.
He did tell me shut up.
Please, councilman, stop. Stop. You're getting frustrated, you're getting
The councilman
emotional.
right here.
Who?
Point of
I'm
order.
not Roger. Vanderplow.
Guys, point of order. Come
I
on.
didn't hear it.
Stop it.
You're deaf.
My contract does not state that it has to be time-stamped, just approved by the mayor.
Okay,
He signed
the-
it, done.
The charter states otherwise.
Where?
I don't know, guys. I went through it. You think I memorized the entire charter? Regardless, I'm all for helping you here. We're not.
I don't
this
need your
isn't-
help, I
this
just
is-
need your approval based on what my contract says.
Yeah, so you don't need my help.
I do not need.
Great. I'm gonna go ahead and agree with the tabling on this. Bring it back timestamp from the mayor, then we'll make it an approval for that. Thank you
Council
so
Chair,
much.
may I
Council Chair, I
take a
have
look
something
at
I
it,
was
please?
Stop. Hang on.
Council Chair, may I take a look
I'm gonna go
at it?
through Councilman Saab, and then we're gonna go through you. Thank you.
And the
You
only
can be
reason,
seated, sir.
and the only reason I tabled the 38 and took it off was because this was received February 20th, 2024 by Jared Hart. That's why. And the invoice that you sent, or the paper you sent, is from last year. That's why, so you want to say retaliatory, check the emails you guys send and clarify it. You just want to jump the gun. It says right here that this was received from Chief Jared Hart. Does he still have access to his
It
email?
says where?
Right in our backup.
Jared Hart hasn't been here in months.
February 20th,
It doesn't say Jared
2024.
Hart.
Who's using his email then?
What are you saying?
Who sent the backup? You're saying you submitted it.
No, I
Or
don't
your
have
secretary
access to
doesn't-
Civic Engage. I didn't.
No,
submit
it's
it.
not Civic Engage. Who has access to the chiefs? Has he been using his email still?
Council
know if
Chair,
he
which,
has
Council Chair, I'm sorry.
Council Chair, when you're
Hang on
done.
1 second, Mayor. I'll let you go
Through the
next.
chair.
I-
That's my question, and that's why I was tabled. You guys jumped out to something completely saying it's retaliatory. My question is, who's using the chief's email?
May I see the email and may I
It's in
see-
your
may I
backup,
see the
9B,
letter?
it's on the
All I'm
agenda.
asking, I'm not going to get angry at you.
Roger,
Just look
please,
at
point of
9B.
order.
I'm talking to the
mayor's
chair.
next. Actually, Roger is next,
I've
and
been
then the mayor.
waiting. Thank
Are you
Council
done?
Chair.
No.
Okay, hang on. Let him finish. Roger's next, and then the mayor. Guys,
So the paper you got, the one you sent, was dated February 19th, 24.
I don't even know what paper you're talking about. Can I see it?
paper you
Yes.
just sent us.
Hold on.
Here's one.
Whose signature? And when was this sent? 24. It's not the same invoice. That's why. It's two different, yours is from last year.
That's what he applied for.
The paper that you sent to the mayor, I believe, was for tuition from last year. The email we got
it was-
from Chief Hart was February 20th. That's why I pulled it back. And that's why I was asking.
Yeah. So
you guys
Chief Hart,
said-
yeah, so Chief Hart hasn't sent any emails,
Well, then
so
somebody's
that,
using his email.
It's not an email, it's a cover letter.
yeah, someone filled that out. I've never even seen that until today.
Roger, go ahead.
Yes,
Thank you.
Council Chair,
Thank you.
so much. May I see the letter that I have not seen it, the one that?
It's in your
that you
backup.
have?
Come on.
In your backup.
No, the one that.
9B.
that,
Council
uh,
Chair, Council Chair,
Chief Swope.
Just gave you.
Council Chair.
I don't have it.
I might be able to clear it
It's
up.
right there, yes, that one.
Hang on
That
one
is,
second.
excuse me, that is a cover letter that's generated by Civic Clerk,
Which one is?
the one that has Jared
Okay, so that's just a cover
name on
letter.
it. That's the only one that's authorized to submit it through the police department.
Yes.
Thank you.
As it says, though,
Welcome.
2024.
When that happened, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm sorry, when.
Which one?
um,
The one from
in-
31?
It was submitted this week, or,
No,
this
when,
last
One
week.
that
when
the
you
director
took
spoke
over
to.
from,
Yeah, the chief hasn't been here in a while.
yeah, but I
Yeah.
don't know when.
So it's-
Right.
His name is still the
Okay.
chief.
Yeah, because I don't have access
Right.
to Civic Engage.
Madam
Yeah.
Clerk, do you know that when Civic Engage is used,
Here,
does
give
the
this to
date
Roger.
automatically update to the date that that you're actually executing the task? So like in Word, if I put together a template and then somebody comes in later, 2 days later and uses my template, the date auto updates. So no matter what you're doing, that date auto updates.
I'm gonna
Does
let the,
Civic Clerk work?
I'm gonna let the expert, answer that question.
The date that's put on that cover letter is the date that the submitter sends it off to approval. So once you generate that and you send it to the mayor's office for him to approve it, that's the date that
So
you
it
see
still
on that
get-
cover.
So it still gets initiated by the police department?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't do that part.
Yeah, well, that sounds legit to me.
It comes through the police department to the mayor's office,
So
and then
submit it on the
subsequently to
20th.
us.
Council Chair?
Okay, look, guys, hang on 1 second. I'm gonna let you go next because actually it's Roger and then you, but if Roger wants you to speak. For
Yes.
myself, I'm all for paying the man, but if you want to table that, Councilman, I'm also going to support you on that. Is that what you want to do, is table
I
it?
want to table it.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Roger.
Yeah, Council Chair, I see the letter from Mr. Swope as Director of Patrol Operations. I see the initials by the mayor. It has a date, 10/31/23. So I don't think there's any machine that we have that stamps any letters that come in. This is sufficient, and it's been
Clerk's
used
office does.
as I'm talking, please.
Hey,
It has been
point of
used
order.
as a
Don't interrupt
regular
him.
course of how we respond to these requests. The other, our clerk, Madam Clerk has pointed out, the other document is generated as a computer. There's no signatures on it of Chief Hart or anything like that. It may come from
I agree with you.
Civic Plus.
Thank you.
But I don't think you need a timestamp on it. That's sufficient, has been sufficient for all our
Go ahead, Mayor.
inquiries.
And again, the date is on here. This is the date I sign it.
10/31.
If it's a different date, then I put a different date. But whatever's the date on the document, that's the date that I signed it.
2023.
So I'm not gonna put another date since it's already appear on the cover letter.
I agree.
Okay, so that's the timestamp, is whenever the date is.
The request has to be different than the initial approval, but if you're
So
saying the
if-
request was on 10/31,
If I
And he signs it the
received
same
this,
day.
if I got this in November, then obviously I put a different date, November. But
Council
this,
Chair.
this was signed on 10/31. So that's the first one.
Mr. Mayor, how did you receive that request?
It goes online.
In the email?
No, it gets online, we print it, I sign it.
Okay, because it's been in a habit, like I've been seeing the police department send you emails, you send them an email back approved. So how come you didn't do it that way?
It goes it submits on, when we put stuff on agenda. I get that, I sign it, and we upload it.
It does say for the agenda.
Yep, this is for the agenda, and
Request for approval.
this has been rejected a few times, at least I know once before, I'm not sure if it's
it
twice.
was approved, actually.
No, not this one.
No,
We
for
paid them
the,
before.
for the tuition.
Yeah, we paid. And
Okay,
we
so
paid
I'm
them
not-
last time, and we said to made it clear that we need a timestamp approval from you before he
Chief, you have a
schedules.
$2,700 bill,
Timestamp
correct?
is a date.
Yeah, so whatever's the date on there, that's the date I signed it. If it's a different date, then I revise the date.
It's up to you guys, whatever. I mean,
Look, I'm all for
And that's one.
education.
Can I go on, Council Chair, on the?
Well, hold
the
on,
CUDA
let me
group?
just discuss this. Are you guys okay with keeping this, or what do you want to do,
I
Council?
mean, if we're okay with keeping it, we need to make sure next time we need the timestamp for everybody, not just interim chief. Anybody that's requesting for tuition before scheduling, they need to get the approval, timestamp through email or through something else, a signature, a handwritten signature. I don't think that's sufficient.
So,
I could sign it anytime. So I'm not saying you didn't, Mayor, but I'm just saying for my own sanity here, I need a timestamp.
Council Chair, just for the record, Interim Chief Swope, you can upgrade or you can update cover letters.
Council Chair?
I don't
we
have
can't do that
access
yet.
to the system.
Doesn't Cooper?
I think Janet, our secretary, sent an email to the clerk's office or someone to get me permission.
Yeah,
to get
just so
inside
there's
there.
no confusion, because this looked like Chief Hart sending it on the 20th.
Well, he's still the chief.
But you're not understanding what I'm saying, Mayor. It's here in front of us that says something, and I'm asking him, he's completely blown it out to something else, and it's right in front of us that it's coming from. I understand he's the chief.
I think what you're, Council Chair, I think what you're saying is that letter that came from Chief Hart, it's in the Servpro or whatever already, or Civic Plus, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we
Councilman
just
saying
need
update
to
it.
fix it and update it if that's
To
the
show
case.
Interim Chief
If we-
Swope that
if we-
emails are coming
not-
from
but-
him.
But it's, I mean, going forward, we can do it, and since you pointed out, probably going forward is the best way to handle it.
All right, guys.
That's why I just asked.
Let's move on with the subject. Chief, you can sit down. You're all set there. Thank you. Mayor, what else you got?
Okay, so for the CUDA, again, it was sent to the clerk on 123 the first time. That's the first time that it was put on the agenda. So the clerk had it on 123. I have this sent here. It was successfully received. Then I sent it to both the council chair and the pro tem on same 123 at 8:34 p.m. And that was the second time I sent it. And if you look at that note that I just talked about, it has 3 companies that put a bid on. There was Michigan Process Pro. There was, what is that, Global? Global Process Services, and there's CUDA. So it was bidded, and I did submit that on the date that I just mentioned. It's in the memorandum. So we did get 3 quotes, and those were the 3 quotes that was submitted.
Council Chair,
Correct.
it still never came to council for approval.
It's
7B, it's on here, it's on our agenda today, guys.
Yeah.
So what we could do is we can approve, depending on the approval of 7B. So we can actually allow CODA to stay on. I know former council chair used to do that a couple of times. But no, Mayor, this was never brought before us. So today you're bringing it for us on 7B. Because you went up for 3 bids and you put it in front of us. It's the first time it's going in front of us. Yeah, you've informed us about it via email, and I recognize that. But this has never come here. Councilman Wenzel, all the way down to Councilman Constant, have never voted on this. If you can show me the vote and the motion that this was voted on in the past, I would shut my mouth and apologize.
Council Chair, I think I did put together a memorandum and an opinion on 9.1 in the charter. It just relates, the city shall enact an ordinance which may be amended, establishing competitive bidding procedures, policy standards for the purchase of or contracting for materials, supplies, and public improvements. Even the amendment in 2007 on 9.1 and 9.2 and 9.4 did not change it to include service contracts. So if we are saying we're following the charter says it's permissible what the mayor has done.
I'm moving on this one. What would you guys like to do on this? Because in reality, it is on the agenda today. If it's approved, we can amend the motion to state that if the quota group is approved, we can pay quota group. If 7B is failed, we won't pay quota group. Can we?
Council Chair.
Can we set it up that way, Madam Clerk? Because we're spending so much time on this.
Yeah, because there was 5 or 6 cases that had to be dismissed. Officers are in other cities. As a former court officer in Livonia, you used to have to schedule the officers, and they went days, afternoon, midnights. A
lot of our officers had left, and the
Roger.
state prosecutor was,
Roger,
and the judge
please to the chair.
was complaining.
Please, thank you.
Mr. Chair.
I know
Thank
you're
you,
answering them, but please go to the chair. Councilman Constant, I completely agree with you. I'm the reason why we even have it on the agenda today, because I said to the mayor, and gentlemen,
I remember, yes, thank
Tim, I said, bring it in front of us. If it approves, we're going to pay you. All this body is saying is follow proper policy and procedure. Now, I know Roger, our corporation counsel, is going to say, well, this is what the charter states, because he's going to tailor it based on what he wants it to state. I'm going to tell you the proper policy and procedure is you need to have 3 bids go out. The administration can choose whoever they feel is best, and if the council approves of it, they'll approve of it. If the council denies it, go out for 3 more bids. Now, I don't see why we would even have a reason to deny this. I don't care if you know who you know in the police department. I don't care what your relationship is to whoever it is in the city. All I care about is that there's proper policy and procedure, because the second we let it go one time, it's going to go away 3 times. They're going to do it 7 more times. Then next second, the council's making no decision, and now we got these services that are being done by the administration, and council has no word. Why are we here? We're like obsolete in that respected manner. So I would like to say, if Councilman Ahmad, you want to amend it to state that the quota group, which are 51 and 52, if 7B approves, we'll approve 51 and 52. If 7B fails, we won't approve 51 and 52. Councilman, are you okay with that?
No.
No? Okay. How about you, Councilman?
I'm fine with it. Let's take it for a vote.
Any other discussion?
Council Chair.
So what are we voting?
Well, I want to take this to the vote, please, Councilman Constant. We're still on fund transfers and current
The
claims.
claims, we've taken out 51, 52, which is quota group, until, if it's approved today, then we pay them. If it's not approved, then we don't pay them.
Okay, so
Yeah,
when
you
we
can
take
make
the
your
vote for
discussion
the
on
agenda
fund
approval
transfers.
with that.
Let's
No,
approve
it's the
that
claim
amendment.
approval.
Okay?
Leave it on.
We can't skip like that.
Just leave it on the agenda. We vote on
It is on the agenda.
It is on the
I said we
agenda.
leave it on there. Yeah, we leave it.
But we go in order.
Pending approval of
We're
7B.
at claim now already.
Yeah, exactly. We approve it and we pay them.
So we're doing claims. Councilman Saab.
You know
asked
what we can
51,
do,
52 to
Councilman?
take it out.
You know what we can do? We can still keep it tabled, go on to 7B. If it's approved, bring it back next week and we can pay everybody else.
We could do that
How does
too.
that sound?
Councilman Saab, we're gonna do about 56.
No, 56, we'll go ahead and pay.
Okay, so we're not removing
It's not
56.
2024.
We are paying them?
56, since it's a 2023, I wasn't on council.
Okay.
Okay, so we're only removing then 53.
51, 52, 53, 35 through 41.
Correct.
Okay? And Jim, so ultimately what's going to happen is, assuming 7B is approved, when they submit it to the next meeting, your company will receive its funding. Thank you. So do you want to amend your motion to allow 56? So we're only eliminating 51, 52, 53, 35 through 41.
Correct.
Okay.
Hold
Do you
on.
second that, Councilman Constant?
Well, yes.
All right. Hearing all the discussion.
Hold on 1 second. You guys, 50, which ones are still on
I
there?
can read the motion again.
Go ahead, read the
it,
motion.
please.
Okay, I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve claims and ACH wire transfers 6-1 through 56 with tabling 51, 52, 53, and 35 through 41
Yes.
as submitted.
No, we're not tabling,
We're taking it out of the claims.
taking it out of the claims.
Removing.
Removing.
We're tabling Plant Moran.
No, we're removing all of them. They
Okay.
can bring it back next week.
All right.
Or in 2 weeks.
All
Hearing no
good?
other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
No.
No,
No.
What?
Wait a minute.
You can't do this every meeting, spend 2 hours on claims picking through.
I agree
Okay.
with you, man. I agree with you. This has gone too far. Okay.
We're
Madam
going to
Clerk,
do a
take
roll call, right?
so
Okay,
time out.
we
I
have-
just want to set something straight. Plant Moran, we're tabling it.
We're tabling all of them. This is not
No, no.
denying anybody.
Okay, you're missing the point. We're holding Plan Moran back for them to give us invoices. So you're just sending everything back out for
That's,
the next meeting.
that's for everything here.
For everyone.
Every single one of them are holding off until the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
You don't
everyone-
actually deny something off.
No, I know, I'm just
claim.
trying, because what his original motion was to table it, just Plan Moran to,
All of them, we're tabling all of them. So right now, if 7B passes, he'll bring,
Let's get
Photo
it.
Group will come back onto the next meeting.
Council Chair, let's get a clarification on this, exactly what.
Okay, I'm gonna walk us through it real
Right.
quick. We are making a motion to removing 51, 52, 53, and then 35 through 41, okay? And if, assuming 7B gets approved, and assuming that Plant Moran gives us back all the detailed invoices, at the next meeting, we're gonna pay Coda Group, and we're gonna pay Plant Moran. But the council is saying, just give us the proper right information. There's nothing has changed based on this discussion.
Until further clarification is provided.
Yes. So
Thank you.
can we go back to making this vote? Madam Clerk, can you take a roll call on that?
Yeah, you're approving that one. You're not removing
Yeah,
it.
right.
Yeah. Can you go back and take a roll call on this, Madam Clerk?
Sure. Is everybody straight?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you go ahead?
Nancy Breyer.
No.
Denise Malinowski Maxwell.
Yes.
Mo Baidoon.
Yes.
Tom Wenzel.
Yes.
Hassan Saab.
yes.
Robert Constant.
Yes.
And Hassan
Yes.
Ahmad. Yes. Motion
Thank you. Motion carries.
Motion
Guys,
carries.
I cannot believe we just spent 35 minutes on fund transfers and current claims.
Council Chair, I'm sorry, just before we move on, can we have,
Sometimes.
Mayor, can we have like some kind of timestamp approval from you for all tuitions from now forward, please? Please, like an email would be fine. If you approve it through email, that would be fine.
Thank
Council
you.
Chair, the clerk's office has a timestamp machine.
You have the timestamp? Okay, perfect. So let's take it through the clerk then.
Consideration of bids. City Engineer Deeb, bid award, water distribution system operation in charge of S-1 level contract.
Council Chair,
Councilman Saab.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council award the bid for the 3-year water distribution operation service contract to Hennessy Engineering as the lowest qualified bidder. In addition, authorize the mayor and the clerk to sign the contract. Further, authorize the mayor and comptroller or clerk to sign the necessary warrants, and the treasurer to pay accordingly as outlined in 7A.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. Any discussion?
Yes.
Councilman Saab.
Just, I was going back and forth with emails with Mr. Deeb on this. I just wanted to clarify, and I never got that last email back, Mr. Deeb. How many times a year does Hennessy Engineering test our water?
So I did, Councilman, I did reply, so I'm not sure, but we were going back and forth all day. And so there are various testing. I'm going to start with lead water testing is 30 locations, twice each, so 60 times. Water quality perimeter testing, 2 different locations every quarter. There is a disinfectant byproduct testing, 2 every 2 months. And UCMRV testing, which is unregulated contaminant monitoring rule testing. That was a long one. 4 tests every 3 months. And then bacterial testing every time you do a disinfection or a tap or water main breaks those are the tests, different tests.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Council Chair.
Councilman Ahmad?
Mr. Deeb, I know you sent the contract, thanks so much. I didn't have a chance to look them over. But why this one is so reasonable?
That's that's a monthly, I believe the two, and I worked with one of the companies, Banesh, they provide like a contract employee. So they provided a contract employee. They did to me at the airport. They provided a contract employee. So it was an employee that stayed with the city because you use them for a lot of things. This particular company does not. That employee, that operator provides services to multiple communities. So.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you very much.
Contract employee, actually.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Next up, we have 7B, Interim Police Chief Swope, bid award for subpoena service agreement.
Council Chair,
Councilman Constant.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the selection of Coda Group, Inc. to fulfill the emergency services of assistance in subpoenas as outlined in 7B.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Constant, seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. Any discussion?
Council Chair, I have one question that wasn't asked. What's the duration of their contract?
It should be in the contract. Roger, no, Mayor, do you know that answer?
The duration.
The duration, do you know how long their contract's going for?
With that?
Coda.
Coda.
Sir, do you know how long your contract is?
There is no date on it.
Let's set this up for till, maybe we can put a date on there till maybe, I don't know, 12 months. We can renew it again in 12 months. Yes.
December 31st.
Perfect. So we can amend the motion to state not to exceed of March 12th of 2024.
Well, how about, no, his contract started months ago.
Yeah, his contract started.
Started 6 months
the time
ago or
he started.
something, so it's going to be up in a few months.
I mean, I really don't want to see us keep going back.
Well,
June 5th of 2023 is when you started.
So it's good until then. Just keep it that way. Good for 1 year.
It was signed.
Contract.
Okay, let's keep it till June 24.
Yeah.
that's fair.
Then we can
Okay,
renew.
who made the motion? Councilman Constant, can you amend it?
Yes.
Till June of when? 2024?
Yep.
Go ahead. I don't foresee you coming back in June of 2024 and not renewing it. It's just good to have a good timestamp. You probably don't even have to come back. Unless somebody from the police department says it's not good, and then we have to tell her, all right, let's go out for somebody else. But it's not our cup of tea, it's not my expertise. You want to amend that till June of 2024?
Yes.
Thank you. You second that, Councilman Breyer?
Yes.
All right. Any other discussion?
Council Chair?
Yes, Councilman Constant?
Yeah, let's just keep in mind, this was been done for amongst other reasons at the request of the judges because officers weren't showing up and cases were being dismissed.
Thank you, Councilman. I think we're ready to make a vote on this one. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Finally, Coda Group is done with, guys. You can see yourself to be on the next agenda, and as long as Councilman Saab don't want to remove it, you should be fine. Next up, we have 7C, Interim Police Chief Swope. Yes, point of order, guys. Come on, Mayor. 7C, Interim Police Chief Swope Bid Award, Patrol Fleet, Digital License Plate, DLP Service Agreement.
Council Chair?
We removed
We
it.
didn't remove anything. Just gonna-
We didn't remove it. I said, let's bring it over here real quick, have a discussion on there. Did somebody say they wanted to read this?
I can read it.
Go ahead.
For
Councilman.
discussion. Council Chair, I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the acquisition of equipment and services to support digital license plates for the police department patrol vehicles with the recommendation of a 3-year service agreement with pricing as follows. Year 1, $7,794.56. Year 2, $7,378.56. Year 3, $7,378.56. In addition, authorize the mayor and comptroller or clerk to sign the necessary warrants and the treasurer to issue payment for the police contractual services account 101-300-818-000. Furthermore, approve a budget amendment to include this within its operating parameters as outlined in 7-C.
Support. Motion made by Councilman Ahmad,
Council Chair.
seconded by Councilwoman Breyer.
Council Chair,
Yes.
before you go into discussion, do you mind amending it to remove 7C from the table as you tabled it during?
we
No,
didn't.
no, he didn't table
I didn't table it.
You did.
No, he
then I
removed
asked-
it.
Then I said, leave it for discussion. When I approved the agenda, I said, leave it for discussion.
Why don't we do that? Why don't we, so the clerk will be,
Well, I'm letting you know for the
both-
record, we never
Okay.
tabled it, Madam Clerk. I'm
Council
sorry.
Chair.
There was just a lot of
We both
discussions
had it
going
down
back
that
and
it was
forth.
tabled.
I may have whispered it to Councilman Ahmad, but, I'm just joking. I whispered him like, as in like, we're not to remove it,
Okay,
not
'cause
knowing that I
have
wasn't
tabled
saying it to all
7C.
you guys, but,
We both have table, but
okay, and a
You're good,
motion,
you're
so
good.
amend your motion to say to not table it.
take it off the
we're
table.
good.
We're good? We're good.
Okay. Councilman Saab.
Council Chair, this item's come before you guys before, and once again, it's an absolutely useless item. No other agency in the state has digital license plates. I reached out to multiple police departments in our area, and it's absolutely useless. We can spend this money on much better things. On our dispatch center, they keep bringing this back. I want to not only shoot it down, I don't want it brought back.
They can bring it back as many times as you want.
It's useless because our police department, the vehicles have multiple layers of GPS on them and tracking and everything. This is not, it's just, there's no other department that has these.
Okay.
People with fancy cars get these.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Councilman Constant.
Yeah, I disagree. I mean, this is, so if there's a child kidnapped or something, and they know this digitally, so a human doesn't have to do it, if that license plate crosses and this sees that.
No.
Then they.
That's not.
That's license plate readers.
That's not what this is.
Yeah, that's not what this is, Councilman. This is saying that they can digitally change the license plate numbers. I remember we
On
had this discussion.
police vehicles.
On
police vehicles.
This is just another GPS. Council Chair, I mean, I agree with Councilman Saab. This is what's brought in front of us before. We said, no, it's just extra toys we don't need right now to spend money. We said if we have a grant, maybe, but now we're being asked to pay for it. I would say it's not something that we need at the moment. Let's please take it for a vote, so we can move on.
I will just add a couple of things here too, real quick, Councilman. It's amending the budget, where I think from, a resident today sent us what our budget looks like. And we're way over on our police budget right now. We have giving so much to our police and fire because our budget is 70% to police and fire, and we proudly do that. But I think this license plate reader, I think this is something that I'd like to hold off on. I know we said we were gonna receive a grant, and it's not something worth amending the budget. I mean, we already have Plant Moran charging us $200,000. This is just another thing that we're gonna be asking them to do. Maybe you guys can put this in your guys' future budget, but moving forward, I don't think this is necessary, and we didn't receive. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye. Those opposed? No?
No.
Madam Clerk, please take roll call.
Hassan Ahmad,
No?
Tom Wenzel,
No,
Nancy Breyer,
No.
Moby Dun,
No.
Hassan Saab,
No.
Denise Malinowski Maxwell,
No.
Ian Robert Constant.
No.
Motion fails.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next up, we have reports from Mayor, AT&T Metro Act permit extension.
Council Chair,
Councilman Saab.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the extension of the AT&T Metro Act right-of-way telecommunication permit contract and authorize the mayor and the clerk to sign the document on behalf of the city as outlined in 8A.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilwoman Menalowski Maxwell. You know, so I've been working on that.
Still wrong.
We're going to have to talk.
Any discussion on this? Hearing none. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Guys, hang on. You're gonna say aye. Everybody's gotta say aye. The clerk's listening. Everybody's gotta say aye. Any discussion on that? Please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Come on, guys. You're making the clerk go through these videos and looking to hear who said yes or no, huh? Fiscal year, next up, we have 8B, fiscal year 2022, 2023, financial statement audit report.
Council Chair.
Before we read this, I do want you guys to know, I did receive an email on a follow-up late last night from the auditor about the money, and it seems like our Act 78 pension has kind of dropped a little bit, and so when we saw the drop in the police department money, that's where it came from. Because it was a sum, it was a, and I think you were on there as well, correct?
Act 345.
I'm sorry, Act 345. So I appreciate them for doing that, and this is something that does need to be approved before April. So go ahead, Councilman. This is for 8B. You want to read the motion?
Yeah, oh, yeah. I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council receive, note, and file the fiscal year 2022, 2023 financial statement audit report as outlined in 8B.
Support.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Ahmad. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next up, we have reports from city officials. Councilman Wanso, new position, 2 ordinance officers and 1 building inspector.
Council Chair.
Let
Go
the
ahead.
Councilman Wanso go ahead and read that motion.
Thank you, Council Chair.
Actually,
Make a-
real quick, can we do a quick 5-minute recess before we read this? It's time to actually break fast, and I just want to give some of the council members the right to be able to, even like our corporation council or those who are with us who are observing Ramadan, to be able to just have a sip of water. Can we take a quick 5-minute recess? Are you guys okay with that?
Yes.
You guys okay? Thank you. Next up, we have 9A, Councilman Wanso, new positions, 2 ordinance officers, and 1 building inspector.
Council Chair.
Councilman Wanso.
I make a motion that the city of Dearborn Heights City Council direct the administration to hire 2 full-time ordinance officers whose job description would be solely for the enforcement of rental properties. Secondly, direct the administration to hire 1 full-time inspector whose job description would be solely to inspect and enforce building code issues of rental properties. And, okay, to amend the budget accordingly, which I supplied in the backup.
Yep.
And per legal counsel, it's of a supplementary actuary report is not required. Now, okay.
Did you finish the motion?
Yeah.
Okay, we got to get a second.
I'll second.
Okay.
Motion made by Councilman Wenzel and seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion?
Council Chair.
Hang on 1 second. I'm gonna have the councilman speak on it first since it's his motion. The mayor will go second. Anybody else can claim their third.
Okay. I'm going to amend this motion a little bit, but I did talk to the pension board attorney, and he said there is no reason to have an actuary done on this situation. And I forwarded the email to the
I
clerk's
received it as
office.
well. I got it.
Okay. And so that the actuary is not necessary in this. And I'd like to amend the motion also to, instead of 2 full-time ordinance officers and 1 full-time inspector, after talking to different department heads, directors in the city, I'm changing it to 3 full-time ordinance officers.
Motion made by Councilman Wanso to amend it. Councilman Saab, do you support it?
Yes.
Okay, any other discussion on this one for you, sir?
That's it.
Okay, Mayor, you're next.
Okay, again, we're doing a budget. We should submit that first part of April to have all the positions that are required by the city that, we have a lot of positions that people are requesting, more critical positions. Right now, it's not just, if you get 3 ordinance officers, you still have to discuss the vehicles. There's other things that you need for the ordinance officers. I don't know if they're going to walk, if you're going to want them to walk the neighborhoods. There's no vehicles for them to drive. And also, again, we got to go to the list and bring it in front of council for all the positions that are critical to the city and what's required by the, to run the city, obviously. And, you know, again, you know, this is, you know, we could just wait a couple months. And the other thing, you know, I discussed at the last meeting, the previous prosecutor, he had several ordinance officers. They were actually in court for hours waiting for their turn to come up. So now we're reassessing all the ordinance officers and, you know, the schedule to see what's, if we really do need additional ordinance officers. You know, right now with Mr. Farina, you know, taking charge of the prosecution, they're giving first priority to the ordinance officers and the police officers. And I did mention that at the last time, the way it was done before, you had officers, police officers, they were there, they were working midnight shift and they're working several hours, you know, waiting for their court. So again, I request for the council to table this till the budget, you know, comes through for you guys to approve for everybody in the entire city.
Council Chair? Council Chair?
I'm gonna have Councilman Saab first.
Oh.
Did you ask to speak? Or you
Yes,
asking?
please, after.
Then we'll go Roger.
After Roger.
And then we'll go, Councilman Saab. So go ahead, Councilman Saab.
Council Chair, Council Chair, going back to what the mayor is saying, that let's wait till the budget. Mayor, you just hired 2 or 3 new positions without council. Why would we wait until the budget? I mean, just bluntly, why do we have to wait until the budget? You just hired an emergency manager's position. The budget is in 2 weeks. We start it. I just don't see why we'd have to hold off until the budget.
By the way, we also have to amend that motion. We have to amend the budget for that position because it was a part-time position, not a full-time position for the emergency manager. But no big deal.
So the budget, there was already an emergency manager and,
Yeah,
again.
it was a part-time though.
Yeah, but we just amend the budget for
I know.
full-time, yeah.
But you sent me Council Chair,
Anyway,
January
I'm done.
16th, you sent me an email saying that you were going to propose a budget to council.
To the chair.
Well, no, I'm talking to you because you were
Well,
responding.
to the
at
chair,
full-
Council Chair.
To the chair.
January 16th, he sent an email
Okay.
after the storm that happened without the warming centers. And he said that Bob Ancroft had resigned and that he wants to see if that he would put a budget together for us to amend and see if we can approve the budget. And we had it in us to do it if the council wanted to do it. But the position got put in, hired, it's all over the media. We didn't hear the bar, it didn't come in front of us. And last I checked, Lee Gavins was part-time, and so was Bob.
Actually, Lee Gavin was full-time. It
And
was
then the
amended
COVID, amended to be
to be
part-time,
part-time.
and so was
And this
Bob.
budget was still part-time, so technically correct.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Any other discussion?
Council Chair?
Council
Councilman,
Chair?
actually, I'm sorry, it's Roger first. Councilman Ahmad second, and then you, Tom.
All right, thank you.
Sorry.
Council Chair, I would ask that any reference in language that we separate renters from homeowners. If we saw the report 2 weeks ago that came out from Living Cities about our cities, and they were giving money to Minneapolis, St. Paul, they've given it to Los Angeles, a number of Rochester, New York, and the goal is 60% of the wealth of our Americans comes from homeownership. But we can't get to homeownership if we target renters, and the motion says ordinance against renters. And I think that if we have to make it broad and not separate, because when you talk about wealth, you're talking about discrimination. And if you're talking about discrimination and wealth, you may be talking about African Americans, Latin Americans, other ethnic groups that are involved. If you want to say it in the whole city and not separate renters from homeowners.
Council Chair?
But I've talked to Living Cities to come here and actually talk to us about how we can increase home ownership of our residents from renters to homeowners, but I would not segregate or separate them in your motion.
Council
Thank you.
Chair?
Councilman Ahmad was next.
Oh, I'm just trying to clear up one thing Roger just said, that I have another thing to say. The motion says enforce rental properties, not the renters that live there, the rental properties. You know, there's a big difference there. I mean, and we're not going after people that own homes, because this is rental property ordinance enforcement.
I think we need to really come up with some type of ordinance. I agree, there needs to be some type of more strict ordinance when it comes to the tenants and the landlords of a rental property.
Well, you know,
There needs to be, I think, like an escrow account for grass cutting and for snow removal. I think like there's cities that do that if you want to become a renter in the city of in Birmingham, for example, which I'm not sure if they do or don't, but I know there's cities that do it, like Mount Pleasant does it. But if you want to rent out a house in Mount Pleasant, you have to put
The
forth a
landlord.
contract that shows that this is what you and the person that's going to cut your grass is servicing is. So let's just say it's $200 for the year. There's an escrow put in there, $200 to, and hang on, Roger, real quick.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that
What you
this is
just
what
said.
I want to do, or that we have enforced, but I'd like to do it. There should be like an escrow account. You call me, yeah, I have this tenant, great. There needs to be $400 in this escrow account to make sure that the grass, the weeds, everything's gonna be maintained, and the money can go straight to the, so guess what? The guy cuts the grass, you don't ask the landlord no more, or the tenant. The landlord might live in Florida, doesn't want to pay. The tenant don't care. The tenant's like, hey,
We've been looking, Council Chair, at even the water bills, where they're not paid by the renter or something like that, or someone's renting a property and how it falls on the landlord. We need to do an ordinance for that. I've looked at that. But in this case, if we say we're just targeting rental properties, who lives in rental properties but renters? And when we come to court, they get tickets, and they'll get the tickets, and maybe the landlord and them will work it out, but a lot of times it falls on the renters. I think we should study it. It's not complicated, but we can put the language to target, if there's something with the property other than a rental per se, we need to look at it. But we are going to make the burden fall on the renters or the people renting the properties.
but the
Now,
tenants, I think,
what's
I
good
think
is
the
when I
landlords need to be held responsible as well.
What you said about an escrow, if the landlord does a contract, that the money would be put in escrow to cover water and to cover grass and cover, that's a great idea. I think it would be in the lease.
Smart man.
In writing, so
Council
I
Chair.
agree.
Thanks. I'm gonna take full credit on that before you
Yes,
and the
absolutely.
administration start saying they came up with that idea.
Council Chair.
For full disclosure. I think Councilman Ahmad was next, Councilman Saab, and then we're gonna make a vote on this.
Thank you.
It's 8:11. I wanna go home and see my children and eat.
Council Chair, thank you. I respect Councilman Winston and where this is coming from, but to be honest with you, I do agree with the administration. The budget season is around the corner. Let's see, we heard from the director too. Let's see what you want to add 3, he wants 4.
Lucky to
So,
get one.
what's that?
If you're lucky to get one.
Well, that's the thing. It's going to come back to us. If we don't like what we see, then we can amend it then.
Council
That's the way I
Chair?
look at it. Let's see what they want. We did request too, like, from all the departments to keep an open communication with council too.
I'm just gonna say one thing to that, guys. We've requested for CDBG employees to receive their raise.
Yeah.
Nobody has talked about it. I know Roger, you're still looking for it to happen during, I promise you it happened. I voted yes. They showed up here. And we still did it. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna vote for these 3, Councilman Ahmad, and even if we vote for these 3, he's still not gonna get his request. I'm just being honest.
Just Council Chair.
Council Chair.
I'm gonna have you, Councilman Saab, and we're just gonna make a vote on this.
Okay,
Give
just
us
a reminder
plan,
that,
he's gonna get it.
this budget won't take effect until July 1st, and then by the time it goes out for bids, you're looking at the end of the summer before we get one, okay, if we do it through the budget process. And, this is something that all of us know, this is top of mind on all the residents. Blight issues, rental properties, I think there's probably close to 50% of the homes in Dearborn Heights are rental properties. It's unbelievable.
I don't think
It's high.
that's a lot. You would say, I don't think there's that many.
Well, I bet you, I don't know what this percentage is.
Anywhere
but
like, we're good 8%, 50%? Yeah, you're.
Oh, no, way higher than 8%. We should.
Okay, I'll give you 13. We're not at 50.
How can we
bro.
find out?
That's not every other neighbor is a renter.
Council Chair.
Building department, okay, and then, I want to amend this motion, there's one more thing I want to say, is to direct the HR director to post these jobs immediately.
I'll support that, Council Chair.
Okay.
I have one more thing.
Did you get that?
So let's be clear, is it,
When we say immediately, there has to be a definitive date and time. You
Okay.
could say up to a week,
By the end of
the end of the week.
yeah. Right. Post these jobs by March 15th, right, end of the week?
are we still saying 3
Yeah, it's
officers?
3. I spoke with the people, in the know on this, and this is what was agreed on. Believe me, I just didn't come off the top of my head.
Yeah, good job. I mean, you have that right. I mean, at the end of the day, you are pushing, There should be as many ordinance officers as there's fire and police.
Yeah,
In my opinion. You want to enforce clean neighborhoods, have a bunch of,
Council
and if
Chair.
you can't have a bunch of ordinance officers, guess what? I can name you one person that's sitting in this room today that will do it voluntarily. She will do it voluntarily. She will become an ordinance reserve. And she will do it on her own time, her own car, her own everything. Just give her the city hat so that she can't get yelled at. Yeah.
Council Chair, I'm sorry.
Councilman Saab was next. Hang on one second, Councilman. I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
Councilman Saab.
So, Council Chair, going back to what our Corporation Council was saying, we have ordinance, we have a CFO certificate that you have to obtain as a rental, and it renews. And how many properties are rented out that aren't listed as rentals that the city's losing on? I don't know how we'd be discriminating if we're enforcing our ordinance and codes.
What ordinance are you?
Hang on, Doe, because your mic's not on.
So I'd like him to answer this, but when somebody buys a house in the city of Dearborn Heights, they're required to get a CFO inspection and get all repairs done to obtain the CFO. Once that's done, if the house is listed as a rental, you have to do another inspection to obtain a rental CFO.
Are you gonna target the landlords that are not fixing those rental houses? I was just walking into City Hall this morning, and a guy
No.
had rats in his house. Nothing was done by the landlord to fix up anything, and he couldn't get anywhere with the city. Now, if you're gonna target a group and you use the word renters, who are you targeting? It's in the motion.
But the renters are investors, the homeowners.
How could the renters be investors? You're not giving them a path to become homeowners. Now, if you want to do that.
How are they renting to become homeowners, Roger?
You can.
How?
St. Paul, Minnesota.
This is
Rochester,
Dearborn
New
Heights,
York.
Michigan.
No. That's right. It's available here. You give them a way to build their equity.
Let's just make a
Get them
vote.
own their
Please.
houses.
It's okay.
You can build
You're
it.
fighting
When
on
you rent
words.
a house, you're not renting it to own it. You're
Why
renting.
not?
I'm not saying why not, but a lot of the
Why not?
rentals
How do you
in
do
our
that?
city.
You help them with their equity.
I'm sorry, let's
You're
take it to a
talking about
vote.
franchise.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Come on, thanks, Roger. Guys, please. Not everything has to be a debate. If we all agree to disagree, it's okay, guys. It's okay. Smile. Let's all be happy. Time of love. Hearing all the discussion for Councilman.
Date to be posted? You gave a date to be posted?
The 15th.
Is that reasonable?
I think we should go to the 18th.
No,
18th?
18th. Yeah, you're giving her
18th
2
would be
days. Come on.
Monday.
Yeah, go. Yeah,
Yes.
And then to be
yeah.
included.
I hope it can be done. HR is watching. I hope it can be done.
Yeah. Council Chair, one other thing I'd like to amend.
Come on.
Is to include this in the next budget approval.
We control the budget. We can do that. You don't gotta do that.
Well, we can direct them to, I guess.
Okay. Well,
Regardless, you know what I'm gonna do with this budget season? I'm gonna create my own budget, by the way. I'm already in the process. I'm talking to the clerk. We're figuring it out.
okay.
That's it. If anybody requests some money, let me know how much you requested. That's the only number that I'm not gonna have. No. But I promise you, I'm coming up with my own budget this year. Mo Beidun's making his own budget. And if the city council approves of it, we're gonna follow that budget. Any other discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Next up, we have
9C.
rescind claim 56, okay. 9C, interim police chief Swope purchase and payment of Cellhawk analytical tool.
Council Chair,
Councilman Constant.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the purchase and payment of Cellhawk software at a cost of $5,995, covering services from March 15th, 2024 through March 14th, 2025. In addition, authorize the mayor and comptroller clerk to sign the necessary warrants and the treasurer to issue payment from federal forfeiture account number 265-330-830-060 as outlined in 9C.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Constant, seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. Any discussion on this?
Council Chair.
Councilman Saab.
So I reached out to a few departments in our neighboring department here. So they got similar software. They have a crime lab. They have a full-size staffed detective bureau. And my question is, I have for the interim chief or whoever, interim chief Swope that put this, is who's going to have access to this? Actually, I took a bunch of notes here. Who's going to have access to this? What training do the people have? Because when I spoke to 3 departments, they said the training is so expensive and it's super limited on who can use it and for what it can be used for, because it can easily be abused. So none of this is in the background or in the backup of anything.
Okay, so, Cellhawk is a great tool for law enforcement, okay? I can't speak for whatever agency you spoke with, but our agency, would use this, our detective bureau would use this tool to solve crimes such as kidnappings, human trafficking, fatal hit and runs, homicides, things where the suspect takes off, right? We had an armed robbery the other night. In the middle of the night, if someone commits an armed robbery at a gas station, we'd be able to triangulate possibly who was there, right? So, I'm sorry, our detectives will be using it along with our crime analysts. So we do have a trained crime analyst, in Dearborn Heights, who's highly trained. We actually have experts, subject matter experts, in-house on a monthly basis to continue training with our crime analysts. The DOJ Cops Office has a program. I guarantee you our crime analysts will have more training than anyone probably in the state, other than maybe the Michigan State Police. So this tool would work very well for our crime analysts and our detectives to solve crimes that our community expects us to solve. And this isn't, and I heard one of our citizens state that, the police, could use this, and even Mr., Councilman Saab says this, right, that it could be misused. Well, anything could be misused, right? I can misuse my firearm. I can misuse my police car. I can misuse anything. With proper training, as you said, okay, proper training, people being held accountable, audits of the system, proper policy development, we can successfully use this tool. I think what we have to do as a community is trust our police department, trust our officers, that they're going to do the right thing. If they don't, they're held accountable. We don't just use tools to investigate people because we're suing them or because someone else is being sued. That's just nonsense, okay? What we use tools for is to serve the citizens of the city. And I think it's important to make sure that we have a solution to find people who perpetrate crimes upon our residents. And without having the tools to do so, we might as well be in the 1980s because we're not keeping up. So if departments that maybe neighbor us have access to this type of tool, right, and they're, a terrific department, there's no reason why we shouldn't have this tool, so we can be a terrific department.
Absolutely.
Council Chair. Hang on 1 second, guys.
I'm not done yet. I'm not done. So my question to you, Interim Chief, is our detective bureau, how many detectives do you currently have, and how many detectives are you supposed to have in the detective bureau for our city and our size?
Yeah, so in our detective bureau currently, we have a lieutenant, and we have 2 sergeants, and we have 3 officers, and we have 2 support aides, and we have a crime analyst. So it's pretty hefty detective bureau for a city of our size. So we have a current plan in place that we met with the command union, and we decided to make some promotions. We have a plan in place to add 2 additional detectives to the detective bureau. One's going to basically be a neighborhood services sergeant, and another one's going to be a court liaison sergeant. And then under each person, there's going to be an officer and a traffic bureau officer. So we're going to have a robust detective bureau in time. We've made some progress, and I think the size of it now definitely is a good size for this tool to work for them.
I got one more question, I'm sorry.
Sure.
With major crimes, how many times have we reached out to MSP, Wayne County, or any other agencies to solve these? Because I know we have access to this through MSP. Local cities, if you ever need it, you'd have access to it until we have a plan in place. But how many major crime has been relayed or sent over to other agencies in our city in the past 6 months or 8 months?
Well, I don't have the exact number for you, but I can tell you that, we had a major arson that we could use this on. It would have been great. Down on Van Born, we had a homicide. We had an armed robbery just recently. There's a lot of major crimes that have occurred. And to answer your question, we reach out to our federal partners quite often. On our homicide, we're working with them.
You said we had an arson, we had an armed robbery at like a business?
Yes.
Dearborn Heights, did we
Yes.
capture this man been caught?
No.
Wow,
No.
that's crazy. So
Yeah.
how would this have caught him?
Yeah, so, and I don't want to go way in the woods, I'm sorry, in the
I
woods.
don't wanna
on
know
this,
about the- I don't
but-
wanna
but I'll
know
tell you
about the coward
how it
that
sort of
robbed-
works,
yeah.
because it's technology people do know about. So basically what happens is, let's say there's an armed robbery at 3 AM at a gas station, right? So, this type of technology, what it does, it doesn't say, hey, Mr. Jones was here and he committed a robbery, but what it does is, we go to the local tower, right, and say, hey, what electronic devices were in the area of this tower at 3 AM on a Tuesday, right? And then it's going to say, okay, 3 AM, there wasn't a lot, but there was these 300 people, right? A lot of times with armed robberies, we could go to local, different cities and whatnot and say, hey, did you guys have any armed robberies? And they would say, yeah. So then we'd go to their tower and say, all right, is this VIN number or is this cell phone number on that tower? And if so, we compare them. Then we go get a search warrant, and then we get the information for who that number belongs to. And then we can say, okay, we have a suspect here. So that's how that works. And it would pick up on not only cell phones, because a lot of bad guys, they're not going to carry a cell phone when they commit an armed robbery, but it picks up on a car that has OnStar that's not even connected, right? It picks up on an Apple Watch that has Wi-Fi. It picks up on all types of different things that you wouldn't even think they would pick up on. And you get a unique ID number that hits the tower, and it just sits there waiting for
And
someone to connect
who
it.
has communications with these tower people?
It's cell phone providers who own the towers. And what happens is Leads Online, who we already have a contract with them through Clemis, but Leads Online owns this company called Cellhawk, and they're able to get all the data. It's cell phone companies give them the data. We say, hey, 3 o'clock on last Tuesday, I need to know who may have been in the area here, and there you go. It gives us some information.
And I would add,
So
Hang on
before,
one second. Hang on one second. Roger.
before my-
Haas. One second. Let him finish, and then you're next.
Can I go on one little bit further?
Yeah.
So with the proper triangulation of let's say like a human trafficking or maybe even a kidnapping, we're able to say, all right, this car was in the area. We know it was we look at the number and we call Ford and say, what kind of car is this? And they say it's a red F-150, right? And then what we do is we're able to triangulate exactly what route the criminal took from the crime scene and where the car went afterwards, right? And we can find how fast they went, where they went. It's a great tool, and to
I think
rely
it's a
on.
great tool, but let me ask you one quick
Yeah, go
question.
ahead.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Let's just say the elephant in the room, because we had one of our residents say it, and now I'm kind of questioning it because the resident brought it up to my attention. I mean, it's going to be so easy for you to be able to say, you know what, where did Councilman Robert Constant go today? You're going to be able to figure that out with the Cellhawk, and so like, I know you're saying no, but yeah, you can. Definitely you can. And my question is, to Councilman Saab's question, where is the, I guess my question is, and don't forget I'm fasting and haven't eaten all day, but my question is, where do you stop somebody and say, hey, you're not allowed to do that? Or where do you, digitalize and say, okay, this is who used it, and this is who we tracked, and, will the council be updated with who you guys tracked?
Yes. Well, that wouldn't happen. But with that being said, we could update the council and say, hey, our guys are acting appropriately. What we do is we conduct audits of the use of all our systems. And anytime someone would put someone's name into a system or any number into a system, it'll be in a police report, right? So therefore, during the audit process, if we see, okay, this number was ran, right? Who did it? Because when they log in, they have to put in a case number to go with the ID
Who's
number.
auditing them? Is it you?
The police department audits it.
I know. Who from the police department?
Well, that would be one of our lieutenants, just depending who's assigned to it at the time. But yeah, our executive level, administrative level.
Well, the executive level isn't the biggest fan of Mo Beydoun today, so if the
We're
executive,
fine. We
if
talk
the
a lot.
executive level looks at Mo Beydoun and says, you know what, this is the guy that was just talking to the media about me, you know what, yeah, you're not gonna go and say, yeah, I'm gonna look how you do, and I'm not saying you are or you're not, I'm just saying the executive person. I'm not naming a certain person. I don't want anybody to come out and try to twist this, because that's not what I'm saying. But you can understand where I feel uncomfortable with some of this information.
I understand it completely.
Unfortunately, we're in this position. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, and it's, risk reward, right? I pride myself on being, constitutional policing, and making sure our people do the right thing. our guys are held accountable. I think we have a great police department. We've had some issues in the past, and our guys understand that they have to be held accountable to the systems that we have in the police department. If they misuse them, misuse of like lien, I mean, that could be, you get terminated for that. You can be charged for that. We investigate any type of complaints related to misuse of systems. But I have confidence in my police department that, we constitutional police, and like I said, we can misuse anything, right? It's just about being accountable.
Council
Okay,
Chair.
thank you. Councilwoman Malinowski Maxwell.
Malinowski.
Maxwell.
Just Malinowski.
I have a question. I'm sure this covers burner phones then too, right?
Any type of device, yes.
In the past, I thought OnStar was a private system and they did not cooperate with any type of tracking because it was something you purchased on a car and you wanted it to be private. I know
Yeah.
in murder investigations, they didn't use it. So what
Yeah.
changed
So
that?
So they're not reporting anything, really. So what happens is any type of electronic you have that talks to something, automatically, the only way it can talk to something is through a unique number, right? So these cell phone towers, they grab everything as you pass them, as you're walking down the street. So we don't necessarily get the information from the tower, and there's no no one's name is attached to it. It's just numbers. And then we have to do legwork and do, like, Ms. LaPointe said, and get search warrants, that
Yeah,
type of
because you
stuff.
said you could track it, and I know in the past, OnStar did not cooperate with that, even in murder investigations that were high,
So we don't
big in the
track,
media.
so we don't track through OnStar, we track through numbers, right? Through unique numbers. So OnStar has to send a signal to work.
She must have a GM or something.
So
Selling my truck.
any, it could be Ford, it could be a car that doesn't even have OnStar. It could be a car that just has Sirius radio on it. It has a number that has to transmit somewhere, and these towers take the number, and then we have to get the number by whatever means we can.
Council
Yeah,
Chair.
because it just seems like these systems that we're used to purchasing
Let her finish.
without the knowledge
Councilman
of
Saab's next,
it
and then
being
you
able to
can.
be tracked. I mean, I don't
We had one more. I
purchase Sirius
stopped him to go
because
to her.
I never thought of being tracked
did.
by it, and I will look twice
Yeah.
at it because I
Someone-
don't agree with that.
And I hear what you're saying. It's called the terminology is the Internet of Things. It's a new thing that's in policing and law enforcement. Is everything has an internet to it. Everything has a number to it, and we don't track people. We track numbers, right? And when we do want to track the people, we will constitutional police, and if we have to get a search warrant for it, we would. But, in exigent circumstances like a kidnapping, if something happens and we don't have a tool like this, and I'm not saying you guys have to vote for it, you know what I mean? But I'm saying this tool, if we can do it ourselves, is going to cut down precious time rather than us having to call someone else to do the work
Thank
for
you.
us.
Thank you. Go ahead, Councilman Saab, and then Roger.
No, go ahead, give it to Roger. He's impatient today.
Thank you. As both defense attorneys and prosecutors would like this becomes evidence in a case to show where a person was at the time. It also can be exculpatory. If you're looking, and I've done it on murder cases, we've had it on rape cases, where the person was accused of being in a place and the triangulation showed that they were not there. However, when you're doing a murder case and you need the evidence, this is substantial evidence to locate and becomes part of a case. It's essential for law enforcement, it's essential for prosecutors to put their cases together if you can use this tool. And I think that and there are safeguards, of course there are, like lien, there's safeguards. And if there's any abuse of it, it's recorded. And just like that you do Google search, this is a step up, where you can track where your phone, anyone can track where your phone is. And I've had rape cases where people have been pimped out by family members. We were able to trace where that person was at the time, and they weren't at the location. And the prosecutors had to help us dismiss it. So I think that it's an incredible tool. It will help build our cases and strengthen our cases. That's the purpose.
Roger, I got a question for you.
Yes.
Don't you think it can also, just yes or no? I know you don't like answering yes or no. Could it be abusive?
Anything could be abusive. Well, you know what? But the abuser risks severe felony charges.
But who?
If a police officer abuses it, and we've had in our own department, some people abuse the lien system. Okay,
I
I'm
can
not
tell
gonna
you
go
there's
further
5
than
people that
that.
have
I'm
been
not gonna go
abused through
further
our
than
police
that,
system,
but
never been charged.
there is a record of it. Well, I can't discuss that, but
Yeah.
it
Councilor Chair.
is a tool. If you
Councilman
use
Saul
it,
is next.
there's a record of you using it to answer your question,
You can
Council.
bring that up.
Roger, just one question to you. I've requested some police report information a month ago from you, and it seems like your memory just disappears every time, so I
I'm
don't
not
know.
attacking you, Council Chair, and I'm not gonna
I
put
know,
up with you
I'm just
attacking
saying,
me.
I'm
Do not
saying you're
insult
asking-
my memory,
I
okay?
am, because-
If you wanna talk and say something, say it to
I
me,
agree with you,
please.
Roger, on that one. It was
I-
unnecessary.
I-
Councilman,
Disrespectful, and he's talking.
I agree. I'm agreeing with you.
That's what?
Haas.
No, the stuff, that's what, hold on. What's the stuff I'm talking about? The police reports from the chief.
Guys, hey, we're talking about this.
No,
Haas, I don't wanna have this here. We're gonna have this
What I'm-
later, please.
Hold on, all I'm saying is that they're saying there's accountability
yourself.
and everything, but when you request something, it's thrown all over the place.
There are
just think
rules
it's
and
all-
regulations that you seem
Come on,
to
Roger,
ignore.
go to the chair. Come on, Roger, please. I love you guys. Come on,
Sorry,
man. I'm trying to get everybody to be happy. Anything else,
Yeah,
Councilman?
thank you, Council Chair. Interim Chief, you said this software, you still be able to use it through Michigan State Police, correct? You can call them up and,
Yeah, you can use any of our
Yeah, I mean,
counterparts.
any law enforcement agency who has
like,
it.
if they have it, you can reach out to them for help and they, like your department, executive department can reach out to them and.
Yeah,
ask them.
we do, we could
So
do
it's at your
that.
disposal right now, okay.
All right, here you know the
Well, I would just add
discussion.
to that, it takes time.
Okay.
You state police have all other cities and investigating cases. This gives us time. If a kid is kidnapped.
Roger, why are you like trying to
and
sell it on us
alert.
right now?
I don't even know it. I just found out a little
I
bit
know-
today. I know it, I've seen it work. I've had homicide cases we've
know,
used
but
it
like you
for.
seem very adamant on
rape
wanting to sell
cases.
it.
I'm trying to explain answer the question about whether we can go to the state police. Other cities are all using the state police. They don't have the time. This is an immediate resource.
Thank you.
For a prosecution and for the
I
detectives,
also will say.
incredible tool.
Roger, thank you. I'll also leave some closing remarks. I don't think Dearborn Heights, the small bedroom community, is seeing homicides. We're not Chicago, we're not Detroit, we're not Dearborn. We're a very small bedroom community.
We have
Unfortunately, you had an armed robbery. You know what we need? We need more police officers. That's what we need.
You can solve it.
That's a solution.
with
Not
the officers you
not bring me
have.
this cell hawk, bring me more police officers.
Council Chair?
Guys, I'm gonna take this to a vote,
Council
guys.
Chair, a
Please.
10-second question.
Go.
I mean, answer.
I don't wanna go back and forth with
No,
a
it's not,
10-second
it's not.
question.
Officer Swope, Chief Swope, you mentioned we have a number of detectives, like 5 or 8 or something that you mentioned. Are any of those female?
No.
No? Okay, thank you.
All right, hearing no other discussion, all in favor, please state aye. Those opposed, no.
No.
Madam Clerk, can you please take roll call?
Sure. Moby Dun,
No.
Hassan Saab,
No.
Hassan Ahmad,
No?
Robert Constant,
Yes.
Denise Malinowski Maxwell,
No.
Nancy Breyer,
Yes.
and Tom Wenzel.
No.
Motion is defeated.
Council Chair, this is very interesting tool, Council Chair.
Yes, Council Chair.
This is a really interesting tool. I think we should look into this, don't just
I
kill
agree.
it right now.
I love
mean,
the idea.
Yeah.
I love the idea.
I'd
but
like to
there's
hear
certain
more
things-
about it from different sides.
Probably the new budget, because
Yeah.
we don't even have the money now.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to, it sounds pretty cool what it can do, but I think we should.
What was that, Mayor? I know, Chair, you're amending the budget for it. Yeah, $6,000 is,
That we don't have.
that could be a couple of bonuses for, across some of our city employees.
Council members.
Council Chair.
What was that, Mayor? I want to see 10 more positions. Yeah, absolutely, Mayor. I love a good discussion.
You guys already voted on it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Don't waste your time.
I'll find funding for it.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation Director Sauer, amusement ride contract 2024 through 2028.
Council Chair.
Councilman Saab.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the amusement ride agreement between the city and Mid-America Shows for 2024 through 2028 as reviewed and approved by Corporation Council. In addition, authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the contract on behalf of the city as outlined in 9D.
Support.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Ahmad. Any discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Next up, we have petition from citizens, none. Ordinance and resolution, 11A, City Council Resolution establishing
Council
a
Chair.
Public Safety Committee. Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council adopt a resolution regarding the establishment of a public safety committee. This will take effect immediately upon adoption as outlined in 11-A.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Breyer. Any discussion on this?
Yeah, Council Chair.
Go ahead.
I actually had a resident over the weekend, she's been calling me, and she's seriously, like, as much as we have here, a great Margaret. She's so concerned about the safety at beach in Warren, Riverside, and I've been talking to her, her name's Miss Walsh, and I told her that we started this commission and asked her if she would be interested in it, and she said, yes, I'd like to appoint her to the commission too.
Well, at this point, we've already have it at 7. It's got to be odd. That means you'd have to have it at 9. Let's just keep it at 7. That's great. She
Five.
can
They
be a
can be
volunteer.
five.
We need volunteers. Or at 5?
Five, yeah.
Sorry, we're at 5.
We're supposed to have 2 more regardless.
And they can attend.
We're supposed to be a 7-person commission.
Well, the resolution doesn't say 7 for the commission, does it? It says 5.
7.
Wait a minute, we're not having comments at this point.
What is it? Well, they're on top of this commission. Go ahead.
Can I speak? Okay. Riverside, with the hawk light thing that's going on, that's in front of Crestwood,
No, I'm talking about Riverside.
Riverside Middle School.
Yes.
Beach City and Warren.
Warren.
I would like to go and look at the situations and assess it, so that way we could have a better understanding of what's going on. And that's what I'm gonna do around the school districts.
No, I respect that, and that's
He's
fine.
asking to add another person.
To the commission.
I'm not if I may say, I'm not comfortable with it. We've had a meeting, we're going forward with our plans, we have plans in place.
Okay,
They can
that's
attend
fine.
the meeting. They can attend.
I didn't
I
want to
would-
start anything
well,
without
can I
having a
add into it for a
resolution to
second?
back anything up that we're
Okay.
gonna do.
And just to add to that, I think we might fall into the trap of too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yep.
I think 5 of us is a really good number for us to be able to focus on what you guys want us to get done, but that doesn't mean it's just the 5 of us. Like, we already have plans to work with all the school districts, to work with any of the community groups, like the River Oaks Association, or, Gulfview Manor, all the different community groups. So I think the person that you talked to, we would love to talk with her. I spent 45 minutes on the phone earlier today with another resident who's at Berwyn and Richardson, dealing with issues from Riverside as well, even in the neighborhood. So we're very much gonna work with whoever wants to talk with us. We're gonna try and maybe hold some like little town hall meetings in the different neighborhoods if we can, all that kind of stuff. But I think for the committee itself, if we stick to the 5 of us, that's gonna be the most effective.
Thank you.
That's perfect, and I'll send her info over to you guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other
Council Chair?
discussion? Councilman Wenzel?
Thank you. When I wrote the original resolution, it was to take a little bit of burden off of
Council.
the council, the police department, Ali Deeb, all the people, where we have just regular residents out there driving around every part of the city every day. Now, I attempted to establish a public safety commission about 1.5 years ago, and it was turned down because the police and fire thought we were trying to step on their toes. And this, I wanted to make sure that this is not that. This is it's like an advisory committee. They go out, they do a lot of legwork that we don't have the time to. We'd love to do it, but we don't have the time to. And they are more than willing and anxious to do this for us and report back to us with their findings. So I think this resolution is a great one, written, I don't know, I believe it was written by the committee.
Yes.
We'll credit the committee.
Yeah. So I think it's a great idea.
All right, thank you. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please state aye.
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 Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Next up, we have a temporary food truck cart license application.
Wait a minute.
Uh,
13A, business license.
I'm sorry, we have the business license renewal for Famous Auto Center.
Council Chair,
Councilman Constant.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council remove the business license renewal for Famous Auto Center at 25996 Van Born from the table and approve the business license renewal as outlined in 13A.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Constant, seconded by Councilman Ahmad. Any discussion?
Council Chair?
Councilman
Pass this down
Wenzel.
there. I was the one that tabled this from our last meeting. And then this business is on Van Born Road, and I checked with the Better Business Bureau, I checked with everything, and they do not have any current situations against them. However, I'm just passing around a picture of this business. Now, this building is obviously in disrepair. And I think in the future, we should have some kind of, when we renew a business, at least go have our building department go there and look at the building. And I don't know if that's code or what kind of enforcement we can have on that, because they have rusty doors. There's an awning across the whole building that the canvas is missing. It's just piping. It's an eyesore. I'm going to put it bluntly. It's an eyesore.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with you. The garage should be repaired.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you can't ask him to, to reface his building.
No.
At the end of the day, some people can't afford it.
Yeah.
But
We
I
take
mean,
the
garage
piping down
door,
or something.
That right there.
Paint the garage door same color.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're renewing their license, you should live up to our standards here in Dearborn Heights, not just to go, it's, you go by there and look at it, and it's a small building, it's in disrepair. I mean, we should have, I don't know what kind of authority we have in our building department of making them paint their doors or, do different things, but in the future, I mean, just given, we approve license renewals almost every meeting, several of them. And we don't even know what the buildings look like, really. I mean, before they get renewed, we should have an inspection on them, have the building department go in there and inspect them, because we don't know what's inside these buildings. I mean, it could be immaculate, it could be, the Taj Mahal inside there, or it could be something very terrible inside there.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, any other discussion? We're going to take this up for a vote. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, guys, we got to do that better. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you. Next up, we have the food truck tent cart license application.
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the temporary food truck tent cart license application for cooking with Nadak LLC and the Beefy Cow LLC as outlined in 13-B.
Support. I don't know if I can, but I want to, Madam Clerk. Thank you. Support. All right. Well, motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Baydun. Any discussion on that?
Council Chair?
Councilwoman Nalowski.
I have a question. Is this already in business? I know it came to my attention on a recent city council meeting that someone was coming for us for a license application, that they were already doing business. We need to crack down on this. If they're opening up before we approve it in the future, I'm not going to approve them.
That's great. So I'll tell you this, the Beefy Cow is actually from Canton.
Well, I'm not saying this one. I don't have any knowledge of this. I'm just saying, because I wasn't at the previous meeting, and so I wanted to voice my opinion on that in regards to future food truck license applications. If they're already operating, I'm not going to approve it.
What do you mean? I don't understand what that means.
Why should you open a business before your license is approved? Why would
Oh,
you drive
are
before
people
you have a
working
license?
without coming here?
Thank you.
Okay.
And they apply through the building department, then they come and apply for the business license. They don't get issued the business license until you all approve it.
Okay, yeah.
It's like a
So I can
driver's
tell you right now, the
license,
Beefy
driving
Cow.
without it before
Yeah,
you get it.
The Beefy Cow is probably going to do this for Ramadan, and he's only going to do it Friday, Saturdays.
No,
And the only reason why you're probably seeing him right now is because he's choosing not to go to a different place. I will tell you guys, if you guys are around at night, he's going to be open at 11 p.m. It is one of the best brisket sandwiches I've ever had in my life. He slow cooks it for like 12 hours.
So Councilman Baydun next.
No.
And, yeah, I do want to put it on record. It's nothing against this individual. I just
Yeah, yeah.
wanted to put it on record
If
for
somebody's
future.
working with.
Because they were advertising on Facebook, come visit us, come to our food truck. Even before the license was approved by
Yeah,
city
that's not
council.
cool. That's not cool.
So,
That's not cool. Any other discussion? Hopefully this passes. I really like the Beefy Cow and I want to try it. And it's all organic. My wife enjoys it. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Thanks for that more respected aye. Next up, we have festival license application, Dearborn Heights Food Truck Park.
Council Chair,
Councilman Saab.
I move that Dearborn Heights City Council approve the new business license application for Dearborn Heights Food Truck Park Festival.
Mike.
Let's try this again. I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the new business license application for the Dearborn Heights Food Truck Park Festival at 6828 Waverly as outlined in 13C.
Support.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Ahmad. Any discussion on this? I actually have a discussion on this. I was reached out today by, resident. We all know her. She comes in here often. And she was wondering, does this, I know we approved this to be a, food truck park, or whatever you want to call it. But in order for them to operate right now for this festival, do they need a C of O? And was there a C of O granted or a temporary C of O granted? Yeah.
This was only a food truck. You would have to ask the building department.
Is Rick Watland on here?
Yes.
Rick is on there.
Okay.
But
We
I
have
don't know.
Rick unmute himself.
There he goes.
Thanks, Ricky.
How are you?
How you doing?
He does have a closing letter. The food truck court is only gonna be using the parking lot, not the building. The building is not gonna be used for anything.
Okay, so are you saying you don't need a certificate of occupancy or any temporary C of O?
Well, the C of O would be to occupy the building. The building is not gonna be occupied.
And it was a parking lot.
Yeah, the parking lot's in disarray.
Well, the
Well,
parking lot's not.
the parking lot just got resealed.
Okay, okay. So you're okay with this, Rick?
Yes.
Okay. I am too.
Council Chair,
Councilman wants
so the building is not gonna be opened at all? Is
The
that-
building's not gonna be open at all. Is that correct, Rick?
Correct, not at all. They're gonna have, a porta potty there, stuff like that. But
Okay.
the building is not gonna be used whatsoever.
Okay.
So, Rick, so it's being used, the building's not being used temporarily, right?
Right.
Being used at all.
No, for the month of Ramadan.
The building's not being used.
Until CFO is
Until the CFO is issued, so
Yeah.
I'm saying yes, but he's saying
Yeah.
at all.
Right.
They're remodeling.
Yeah, the building's not gonna be used for the month of Ramadan. And then once the park stuff opens, then the building will be used.
All right.
Food park.
Yeah, the food park.
We
Food truck
approved,
park.
we approved this last week.
Correct.
It'll be,
Well, hang on one second. Nothing from the audience. We'll fill you in a second. Go ahead, Roger.
Council Chair, and I've talked to our clerk, Madam Clerk, and Rick about it. I sent an email. I asked to make sure that those trucks that show up are the ones that are approved and checked by a building department, that they have Wayne County inspect them, fire department, and we have a plan for the police department at this location in case of emergencies. And that they don't have trucks interchanged, the ones that are agreed to. Some don't just come in and park in the location because.
How are you gonna enforce that?
Well, I think we talked about putting like a temporary fence around it to make sure, and some entrance to make sure it's being monitored. I raised the issue about the building, that it would need a CFO, and Rick assured me, no, it would not be used for tables, and the bathrooms would not be used inside there, and no one would be sitting inside that
Yeah.
location. We are.
Unless they get it up and running and they can get it cleaned out and get a C of O in the next week. I
Yeah,
mean,
we just make sure it's safe,
100%.
and that the food is inspected by every truck.
So, Roger, let me tell you, my mother did it, in Dearborn, her and my little brother, and they had a very strict system. You had to get everybody on a background check. You had
Right.
to go to the police department. You had to submit your documents from the health department.
Yes.
And so, I mean, look, I think we have that already established here right now. You have to get a background check, you gotta get the health department. Yeah,
Well,
the building department won't approve you if you don't
We
go
have
through
an
those.
ordinance that we're going back to the planning commission on, but the food trucks, each individually are supposed to go
Yes,
through it.
each
to get that
individually.
check. But we want to make sure that the owner of the festival doesn't just say, okay, I approve it, and he
No, I
hasn't
don't
checked
think
out
he
the trucks. That's what we want to make sure, that
Well,
every
but
truck.
I want you to know,
checked
nothing
by
needs to be approved by the police department. It needs to be approved by, the health inspection,
Health
the
inspection.
fire department, the background check,
At the clerk's office, the eye
the
check.
building department, and then, the clerk's office.
Right, but the fire department looks to see if the fire extinguishers or the stoves or the things are safe.
Yeah.
Safe.
No, the sink wouldn't even be them. That would be the health department. The health department's gonna hold you accountable where your garbage bins are, how far it is from your prep station, if there's a cross-contamination with food, you know, and you have to have a safe service license, and you have to have, an allergy license thing as well. So there's several steps.
Yes, we've made sure that, but we want to make sure that the person doesn't say, I'm okaying everything
No.
and
Madam
waiving
Clerk,
it for all the trucks that show up.
you know how many licenses you have approved for that location?
For that location, it's in the backup.
I believe also,
There's
Council Chair,
Well,
I believe the
And that
owner,
would be,
Height will be doing it also. They came in yesterday morning and presented to us that they're going to be doing a
He's doing
festival
it,
also.
yeah. Height come before us, though?
You're talking about height.
Yeah, they're going to be using.
They need to also follow the policy and procedure.
Right. Rick and I
Everybody.
talked, they only
Rick.
came in yesterday.
How come they didn't come before us?
and they did not stop at the clerk's office.
So the big thing is when you go as a festival, we do not go each individual one. But the one that is on Waverly, any truck that's there did give us their health department stuff, their insurance and everything. Now the Hype did it. We don't know who's gonna be over there. Just like any other festival, just like
Really?
the city's festival. We don't know.
Council Chair, we've changed our ordinance to include that we can't leave it just, anybody, it's a festival. So
Yeah,
anybody
I
can
agree
show
with you
up.
on that one, Roger. Hype's gotta come in here then.
They have not. I mean, they have not
Okay.
come to the,
Yeah, we'll give them a call.
But the Hype did go to planning commission. And they are keeping to what they said they would for the 3 years.
Okay, so if it's the same ones that have already been approved for the last 3 years, I'm okay with that.
Right.
But do you have that list?
I do not. I have that in the minutes of the planning commission, but.
Okay.
Yeah, I can check on that tomorrow.
Only see license for 3 people.
How many, they have 100 trucks there?
No, he's on, Hype is only gonna have, I think, 4, and he's gonna try to keep it on the inside.
Yeah, there's inside, by the way.
Council Chair?
Inside the-
Yes,
Yeah, but there's like food.
That's a director question.
Yeah.
At the food festival that we're approving, Director, how do you get, where's the power source of that? Is it each one independently, generators or?
No, they're coming from the building.
And that's not an issue?
No, because we will inspect it and, with the building department and also the fire inspectors will be there also.
Council Chair, Mr. Wenzel's correct, that it is an issue, a safety issue. And we've put in the ordinance that it's coverings over, so people don't trip or doesn't affect the building. So I think Mr. Watlin's correct, as long as the fire department inspects it.
Well, the electrical department, I mean, to tap into an electrical panel and you have 4 or 5, things sucking juice out of it, I think that panel's gonna have to be altered somehow, or there's gonna have to be some additional power, which would have to be inspected by the electrical inspector. You just don't plug into the wall, do you, with these things?
No, I will be inspecting it because that building has plenty of power. It's got 800 amp service in it.
3-phase?
Yes. So it has plenty of power and he is gonna hire an electrician to run the power.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you,
Also,
Council.
guys, also, this is gonna be a great thing for the community, I think, ultimately, but we just want to make sure that we follow proper policy and procedure, everything across the board. Same thing for Hype. Eric, Director Watland said that he has that. So thank you for that.
Are they gonna use water, Council Chair?
Yeah.
Are they gonna use any of the building's water?
Well, no, if it's a food truck, from what I know, it comes with like, I don't even know why he would need electricity. If they're food trucks, they got, like.
No, not all of them do. That's why you have the cables going across with them protective things you run over.
Well, that's the big thing is we did not want the generators running over there.
Well, food truck ultimately has one.
Right. But we're gonna try to do just electric over there, just so that it's peaceful.
Well, the councilman's question was, what about water?
No. They have their own portable water.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on this? Hearing none. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Next up, we have comments from council members.
Council Chair.
Councilwoman Breyer.
I'd like to remind everybody that this is Women's History Month, and we've got quite a few on a list here. Catherine the Great, Queens Victoria and Elizabeth, Mother Teresa. India has Indira Gandhi, Sacagawea, Pocahontas, Harriet Tubman, Cleopatra, Clara Barton, Florence Nightingale, Madame Curie, Joan of Arc, Amelia Earhart, Anne Frank, Julia Child, who was a spy in World War II, Mata Hari and Tokyo Rose, who were spies and not for us, and Rosa Parks, our Supreme Court Justice Ruth Ginsburg, and a couple of my favorites, Eleanor Roosevelt and Annie Oakley. And I would recommend that you take this month to read up on some of these people. It's really interesting. Thank you.
Rosie the Riveter.
Oh, yeah, Rosie the River.
Councilman Saab.
First off, happy Women's Month to everybody. It's also Kidney Cancer Awareness Month. Get your kidneys checked out, it's important. And thirdly, it's Ramadan to a lot of people in this community and worldwide celebrating Ramadan Kareem to everybody. A few other comments. We had a director here today, and this is not his first, second, third, fourth, or fifth time disrespecting people, elected officials, or people in the city. And I asked this council, and we've asked before, the chief, and he said nothing about it. Him not be invited to any more council meetings. That's one. Number two, I want to put something on the record. Last week, while I was outside cleaning my leaves in my house, minding my own business, Director Vanderplow passed up and down multiple times in front of my house, slowing down. I have him on video on camera. When I sent the mayor an email about it, mayor responds back, please reply on why on your Mr. Saab's street. I responded back to him, it's not my street. I'm just curious to know, as the mayor has sent an email to investigate us about the housing that the city had put up for sale. And when I responded back and I requested what official city business he had on that side of town the next day and communications, everything, he responded back that this is some kind of harassment and we're violating the order. Just to be clear, when you have video evidence, Roger, the Corporation Council, as our Corporation Council, when you submit something as a concern, it's not retaliation or harassment or anything. I'm a resident at the end of the day. I'm a taxpayer at the end of the day. And I believe I'm being targeted, and I believe I'm being harassed, and I believe I'm being threatened and threatened by you, Corporation Council. In our emails, you may pursue it as it's not. I pursue it as threats. And I've asked you multiple times in emails, you keep telling me that you want to respond to you respond to my emails. You don't. And you tell me all I provide is lies, and I've asked you multiple times stuff about the mayor, stuff about the department, and where I can go. You've never guided me, tell me, send you the evidence. And to be honest with you, Roger, I don't trust you with a toothpick for me to provide you with any evidence. I have no confidence in you. When I'm trying to figure out here, excuse me, sir, excuse me, excuse me.
Okay.
I'm on the record, and I'm putting this on the record for a reason, Council Chair. The attacks of Mr. Farina through my email, you guys are all attached to it. It's getting out of control. Tell me to come meet him at City Hall at 12 o'clock on a Friday when the city's closed, face to face, and that's how he does things. That's a threat. And I perceive that as a threat. I don't care how old school you say you are, you're an attorney at the end of the day. And I'm an elected official at the end of the day. Respect, it's earned, it's not given. But again, you told me you would send me an affidavit that I would sign. I've never seen that affidavit. Or you told me sign a sworn affidavit that I would sign. But your evidence is right in the emails. That's time.
Give your time.
Time out. Hold on a second, I'm sorry.
I get to speak next.
Roger, please, no more from, please.
Roger, I'd like to ask
I just
this.
get annoyed
Where
at
do I go?
false accusations.
They're false accusations to you, just like you say mine are. I'm putting this on the record that you are threatening me via emails. Okay? And where do I go to file a police report? Do I go to our department, or do I go to my MSP? Since you are a Corporation Council, and since I can't communicate,
I can file a report too.
since I can't communicate with our police department based on a cease and desist letter he sent via email, trying to guide myself and ask you, where do I go? I'm going to the attorney grievance office, but where else do I go? Because I'm taking these threats serious because you guys are coming at me at the direction of the mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna go up next. Thank you, Councilman Saab. You know, I leave this meeting here, I leave a mess sometimes. I just leave my gavel here, there's some cups, a paper clip, and then I come back after every meeting and the place is clean. It's like my mom cleaned it up, but, you know, I should do better. I really should. So really, I just want to give a little bit of gratitude to Audrey Clan, who comes up here after our council chambers, after everybody leaves here. She makes sure that everything's clean, the garbage bins are tossed out. And then there's also Mr. Valentine Peppers, who I requested to have 2 garbage bins up here, and now there are. And sometimes these are our day in and out employees at City Hall that don't really get recognized. And so I just want to recognize Mr. Peppers and Mrs. Clan, who come in here after every meeting, whether it's a council meeting, zoning board meeting, whatever the type of meeting, it could be even a commission meeting with our honorable clerk. And they always make sure that this room is organized, clean, prepped up and ready to go before and after every single meeting. They even fill up our waters and give us cups. So to Mr. Peppers and Mrs. Clan, I want to recognize this to you guys. It is also Ramadan. I want you guys to know that the second day, it was extremely difficult. Tomorrow, there will be several Dearborn Heights firefighters, I think a little over 15 that will be fasting and observing Ramadan tomorrow. I believe our clerk will also be fasting tomorrow. I give a challenge to anybody to just fast, don't eat from 7 a.m. to 7:50 p.m.
It's actually 6:15.
All right, Councilman, let it go. You tell them 6:15, they're gonna go to 6:30.
That includes no water, right?
That includes no water, yes, fasting, meaning no water, no food, no nothing. I promise you, the headache you're gonna receive from the withdrawals of the caffeine was definitely a lot. Lastly, there was just a few things here that I was reading on a press release from the city regarding investigations that's gonna be happening to the city, that certain elected officials, I'm not sure who's on that list, I can't tell you, but I gave my opinion on that as well. I feel like we're always hearing that, you know, certain city, people that work for the city or certain elected officials or people are trying to bribe me or, you know, people are asking to try to juice me or people are asking for this favor and that favor and we're investigating it. It's like there's always this ongoing investigation and it's always like this fear to our residents that somebody's doing something wrong. So I call on this investigation unit and team to come forward with these names, come forward with that elected official that supposedly is doing something that, I've heard rumors that I was going to jail. Some of the council members were going to jail. These came from very reliable sources, that Moby Dune was gonna go to jail by March 1st. I passed my 34th birthday. Congratulations. And we're now at March 12th, and, you know, the rumors just gotta stop, guys. I don't know if you noticed this entire meeting, I tried to smile, tried to say, hey, we all love each other. You know, if we can agree to disagree on a lot of things. We don't need to be all malicious, we don't need to be upset, we don't need to be angry. We can agree to disagree, but once you start getting personal and it's like coming at each other and, you know, I don't want to talk to this person, I don't want to talk to that person, it's got to stop. At the end of the day, we all took this role in leadership and we need to work with one another. Councilman Ahmad's looking at me saying it's 9:07, we'll be doing wrap it up, so I'm going to stop talking. But really, guys, let's learn to love each other. Let's continue to reach out, an olive branch. Even if somebody doesn't want to do it, just continue to do it. Be the bigger, better person. I know things sometimes can be emotional or frustrating, and sometimes you can take things personal, but remember my favorite quote, moment of patience during a moment of anger saves 1,000 moments of regret. That's all. Councilman Ahmad?
I'm gonna give up my time since you.
All right. Family man.
Council Chair?
Councilman Wenzel.
Thank you, Council Chair. To everybody that's observing it, have a blessed Ramadan. Second day in, and but anyway, on my motion about the ordinance officers, I know that we instructed the administration to hire them, but we didn't specify a hiring date. So
March 18th.
I mean, that's when it goes out for bids. I posted, but I'd like to amend it to say the positions be filled by May 1st.
Why don't we bring it to the next council meeting? For us to go back, suspend the rules, take a vote on the
You have
table.
to suspend the rules?
Yeah.
I don't think you do.
let's just bring it to the next
Okay,
meeting.
all right.
And just add it on to the next meeting.
Okay,
Just
all right,
bring it on.
because, these new officers, they could look into building license renewals, things like that. The Cell Hawk, I think that's kind of a cool idea. I think something we can look into. I don't know the pros and cons. We heard most of the pros, and I'm sure there's a couple cons out there. But anyway, I'd like to hear more about that. Chief, it sounds like a pretty cool thing.
I like
mean,
it as well.
Yeah, the technology is pretty cool, but you got to be careful with that. And the Public Safety Commission, I think that's like a really good thing to have. I mean, the people that volunteered to be on it, God bless you all. And I think this is the tip of the iceberg of what this is going to happen. We'll see. I know these people, and we'll be seeing some great results real soon on this. And lastly, this Saturday, we're having our first annual Family Fun Night. This one, the first of three, this one's at Annapolis High School. The other two will be at Robichaud and Crestwood. And you can go on my Facebook page, Tom Wenzel, where you have Sign Up Genius. We're still looking for sponsors, baked goods, raffle items. You go on my Facebook page and you'll find out all the information. Thank you, Council Chair.
Thank you, guys. Any other council members?
Chair.
Councilman Constant.
Thank you, Council Chair. I just
Anytime,
wanna,
Councilman.
wish my Muslim brothers and sisters Ramadan Mubarak, and those fasting for Lent, showing the signs of sacrifice and religious piety, and remembering those less fortunate than us in the world. I want to also tell the council we really need to look closely at this water meter issue. I remember when we bonded out, the bonds had expired prior for the water and sewer, and we did not include water meters. So I joined the council chair with saying that the new meters have to be installed. And then let's all pray for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza and the West Bank.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other council members? Hearing none, we're going to take it over to announcements from, you don't have to get up there, by the way, Roger. You can stay in your seat. So I'm going to let ladies first, so I'm going to allow Councilwoman Breyer to speak.
Okay, we have the Ecorse Creek meeting between 6 and 8 on the 27th at 3335 South Beach Daily. And on the 28th, Thursday, this will be at the Justice Center this time, from approximately 6 to possibly 9 p.m. That will be the South Dearborn Heights Civic Association, and our guest of honor will be our acting police chief, Mr. Swope. So if you have questions, he's there to address them for you. Thank you.
The dates?
That's the 28th.
All right, any other announcements from administration?
Administration, yes. Go ahead.
Ladies first, Roger. It didn't
No,
start.
I said go ahead.
All right, Kim Sauer.
How do you say your last name?
Sauer, S-O-W-E-R, yes.
Sauer.
Director of Parks and Recreation. I just want to remind everybody about our marshmallow drop that's coming up on May 23rd. March 23rd, I'm sorry, I said May, didn't I? Yeah. From 12 to 3 p.m., the marshmallows will drop at 12:30, and we've got a lot of free family activities going on, and a lot of things that are sponsored by Target as well. So please come in and join us. Also, if you get a chance to go by Van Houten Park, I wanted to let everybody know the construction has started there. We've got a fence up around the perimeter of the playground area, and they are demoing the rest of it, and it won't be long. Hopefully, April 1st, you will start seeing the playground equipment go up. So exciting things happening on Parks and Recreation that
Thank you
we've
so
really
much.
never had done before, so I'm happy.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yes.
Next up, any other announcements?
Council
Roger?
Chair? Oh, Council Chair, can I fit?
Are you in?
Yeah, I would like to say something,
Yep,
okay?
Roger, hang on one second.
I'm
Sorry.
gonna stay
Ladies
right
first.
here, okay?
Yeah, you should stay up there,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Thank you. The election, we had it 2 weeks ago. There's some that are here that I'd like to thank. Rachel Point is our worker, Rose, Joanne. I'd like to thank where's Kim at? For our first ever early voting. It was at the Canfield Center.
Yeah, we're part of history.
So get
Rose
ready.
was a part of history.
And all of our hosts, Mike Blackburn and his crew are phenomenal, delivering all the equipment, setting up the sites for us in all of our polling locations. And by very favorite police escort that's here in the back. I got to give a shout out to him. Thank you. And I'm going to need another one on April 16th. It won't be as late, though, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Council Chair.
Hold on.
Oh,
Madam Treasurer, are you all good? Okay.
all the way.
I gotta ask.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Council Chair.
Sorry.
Yes.
You gotta give credit to Councilwoman Nancy Breyer who worked 3 days on the elections, she said. So a hand of applause for her. All right, Roger.
She did, thank you, Councilman Saab. She did early voting and then as well as the precinct all day over at the Eaton Center.
Madam Clerk, what about George? What about Dana?
All of them.
Yeah.
I mentioned them last time.
All right, just want to recognize him again. George does a great job. Round of applause for George.
And then council chair was right there
Forgot to
after
send me
the
my
next
private
day.
email, though.
Thank you, Council Chair. I think I could go. I think I could go. I just want to say, we're planning on March 27th, 6 to 8 p.m. There's going to be a presentation, a ComStat presentation, and a legal presentation on what's happening in the city. For instance, people don't seem to know type of crimes that the officers are facing. I know the drug arrests have gone up 380%. The OWIs have gone up 400%. And I want to say the country is changing in terms of prosecution and policing. And my brother is head of the gang unit for New York Prosecutor's Office. We were both prosecutors together from Wayne County. He went and he was speaking in South Carolina, and he had a drug dealer, a gang leader from New York, speaking with him, except this guy now was an attorney. My brother had prosecuted him, and the changes and things that are coming into the system turned this guy's life around to go to Columbia Law School. And I'm saying that what we're doing, we want our community to know that everyone here, the outsiders that come in and commit into crime, the officers are on top of, and working with the UTAs, the stolen cars, but also within our community and our juveniles, we are actively going after changing and offering positive reinforcements for them. So March 27th, we'll do some more announcements, 6 to 8 p.m. We're also looking at, in April, doing an immigration seminar for our citizens here, free legal advice from attorneys that do immigration law. We're also going to touch on what's called EB-5, which are investment visas. If you put $800,000 to $1 million in an area or a location, you get a free green card. We get a green card. Your money's tied up for 5 years, but you can get green cards for children under 21. It's an incredible tool for encouraging investments, for real estate investments. Trump has used it, talked about it. That's what people found out. But it's been around for about 22 years. So in terms of immigration, we're also encouraging real estate investment in the city. Investors internationally, I believe, and I'm not being disrespectful, we are an international city. We have diversity, and we have people from around the world. We've talked to the Bar Association from Lebanon to have some attorneys that have large law firms that have client bases under there to look at Dearborn Heights for investment. So that's coming up. And then in May, we've talked with our buildings department to do a seminar on what we have and the tools of investing in the city and the procedures to follow. So those are some things our legal department is looking at. Thank you.
Thank you.
The meeting in March, I'm sorry, I apologize, is going to be at between meals at the police.
Oh.
The others are going to be here.
All right, any other announcements? Hearing none, great. We're going to move over to public comments. I'm going to start off with Zoom today. Sorry, Vince. And we have one. Dana. Hello, Dana. Please state your name, the city you reside in, the street you live on. I know this won't be the first time you say it, so.
I thought you already said it. Dana Parrish, Brindley Park Street, Dearborn Heights. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I want to speak on a couple of things. One was the issue that Councilman Wenzel brought up earlier about the businesses. Myself and former council chair, you probably forgot his name already.
No,
he and I already discussed this a while back, and it had to do with having something about the ordinance and or building department be put on a checklist. And I believe he had already spoken with the ordinance director and maybe even the building director about this. and getting them put on there, and not necessarily to stop the people from getting a license, but maybe issuing some sort of a temporary license until they can get their problems fixed, so that the city isn't really using this to threaten people, but they maybe get them into compliance if they're having problems, like the councilman wants to suggested about the one business that's having problems there. Maybe give them a 2 or 3 month license and go back and reinspect them. The second thing was on the system that the interim chief mentioned. As a retired officer, I can tell you that no one wants to think about homicides, or no one wants to talk about kidnapping and those kinds of things. We're just a small community. It happens. It happens everywhere. It happens every day, believe it or not. Facebook, you see a lot more. Social media, you see a lot more. Trust me when I tell you, when I started the police department, it was there. It's society. Anything you can do to save time is going to be a great help. The second thing is anything that can be used can be abused. Your police department has a lot of assets available, a lot of technology available. Of course, they can be abused. We had an officer go to prison for abusing something like that. So yes, things can be used and they can be abused. They're tracked. We had an officer in our city that, I'm not going to get too specific, but did some things and he was charged and the whole situation was handled that way. So yes, I understand your concerns about misuse. You know, the radios can be misused. In an instant, an officer can call on the radio and ask a license plate to be run, and then when the license plates run, your name is run with it as well. So yes, technology can bring concerns, but also be concerned about the cost in human life. Even if you have one homicide or one kidnapping in your city, 30 seconds can make the difference between catching someone and not. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you so much, Dan. I appreciate that. Anybody else on Zoom? Hearing none on Zoom. We're going to go over to the public here in person. Vince, I'll call you first. I only call Vince because he gave me like the eye, like, why are you going? Please state your name, the city you reside in, the street you live on.
You just called me my name. Vince Trapkowski, Columbia Street, Dearborn Heights, Wayne County. Mr. Chair, I think we need to go back to the old days of opening bids. I go back to when the city council used to open bids right in front of the public. No more of this, I gave you a bid, I didn't give you a bid, it came out to you. If the mayor or anybody else wants something, they need something, and it's got to go out for bid, or it has to be approved, bring it in front of you.
I agree.
All the bids should be opened in public. Go back to it. They did it back in the early days of the city. There's no reason why it still can't be done.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Just
earlier back, in the city, they probably didn't have internet.
Well, yeah, they didn't in the early days. But those, when they all come together, bring it all forth to the city council at once and let you take a look at them in public. That way there's no questioning, well, I gave it to you, I didn't give it to you. Well, if you didn't give it to us and we approved the contract already, too bad. Also, Commander, I thought you said that the Clemis can be used for your Hawk device? You stood up here and said it's also available through Clemis?
No, he said that there's a third party that uses Clemis, that it tracks the numbers.
Leads online or Clemis, right?
Yeah.
Leads online. No, you didn't have to, but it was leads online through Clemis, right? It was another.
Yeah, but didn't you say that the Cell Hawk could be used through Clemis?
No, what he said was Leads Online owns Cellhawk, but Leads Online is used through Clemis.
Okay, all right. And one other thing, since the mayor left early again, I was going to ask him for an update on the Warren Valley Banquet Center.
I can talk on that a little bit. I was actually just there, if you don't mind pausing this time. I just actually went by there a couple of days ago. Extremely nice. Honestly, God, I'm so impressed. I really, really am. I know many of you probably can be like, most. No, it's very, 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 very nice. It's big. They went from seating people of like 400 to now seating 700 people. So, and then I saw that they are also incorporating like a coffee place, like a coffee hour for people, for like more seniors that want to just sit down and have a coffee rather than have alcoholic beverages. So they have now installed a little small space that walks out to the patio to have coffee and tea. I thought that was neat. I thought it was creative. I don't know if you guys know this much. I mean, maybe at a golf course or not, but coffee has become the new norm of like hookah lounges. So hookah lounges are not the thing anymore in Dearborn and Dearborn Heights or more of Metro Detroit areas. And it's changing. I know you may go left and right, but on every corner now you're finding Gahwe House, Karamaya, Jabal, this Turkish place. Every corner now is popping up these new littles, and they're all busy. Some of their coffee really gets my heart going, but so I can tell you that from walking it, it looked really nice. It still needs work. I don't see it being done anytime soon.
That's my problem.
What's the problem there?
Well, when is it going to be done?
I can tell you
I
from.
mean, yeah, every time we turn around, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay?
Well, I can tell you the extension of the hall, gotta keep in mind, it belongs to the city. You can't
Correct.
pick up that hall, that other half of the hall and say, I'm gonna take it somewhere else.
I understand.
The city now owns, a banquet that seats 700 to 800 people. I think that's amazing.
I understand that. But in the meantime, the city is losing revenue,
5,000 a month.
5,000 a month. And how long has he been working on it?
That was my next question that I asked him. I said, man, you've been working on this. And he said, every time I work on something in here, I run into 10 different problems. I'm not a builder, not a contractor. I'm just giving you the answers that were said. I'll tell you one thing is, when the entranceway, it used to have a boiler, and he wanted to just put like heat, and he had already poured the concrete, and then he realized that there was like he's like, I'm just gonna run everything underground, because when you first walk into like the banquet room, he had to break up the concrete. He was trying to save it. And he's like, man, I already poured this concrete. He had to break up the concrete to run things underground. And every time he ran into things underground, mind you, I witnessed it. There was like 4 or 5 other things that he had to fix as well. Like then he found like a broken plumbing pipe from on a PVC pipe that was cracked. He ended up seeing electric wires that he had no idea that where they were running. Why were they underground? He had no idea. I can tell you this right now. I think the job is it's an extremely expensive job. It's a huge job as well. I don't see it being done for another 8 months, 8 to 9 months. And I'm giving you a realistic time, 8 to 9 months before it's up and running.
I bet it's longer than that, but.
So we're gonna assume by November, December of next year,
Yeah.
of this year. This year. If it goes to
Okay.
next year, that'd be crazy.
I thought it was supposed to be open by the fall of this year, but anyway. One more quick thing, the trailer park or the vendors park on Waverly, that it also includes that building which used to be the former VFW's post, Lascaux post. What is that building gonna end up being used for?
I'm gonna answer that for you real quick, if you don't mind, Councilman. So the vision from the plans that I looked at is you're gonna have food trucks.
I understand that, but after the
Let me
food trucks
finish.
are gone.
I'm gonna tell you.
After the food trucks are gone, what's the intention of the building?
That's what he has, it's a long-term, it's not for a food truck, just for Ramadan. This is gonna be these people are gonna be paying their brick and mortar pricing. You're gonna walk into that hall, it's gonna be a cafeteria type.
Okay.
So people are gonna be able to grab their food, sit down and eat with their family. You're gonna be able to watch sporting events, TVs are gonna be up there.
The food court.
Be a food court,
Okay.
you know? I mean, I wonder if I can pick, I mean, good question would be, can I bring my own pizza and eat in there?
You might, I don't know.
To go.
Okay, that's what was just one of my concern, because you know, like a lot of people that have parents buried at St. Hedwig's, I happened to drive by there today and noticed there was a lot of stuff going on over there. So I was just curious about what was gonna go in
Council
the
Chair.
building.
Thank you.
Just reference to that, he actually submitted plans, I seen them, I went there to talk to him. It's complete, he's completely redoing the whole building. He's
Okay.
gonna open it up, glass, so when you walk in there, you grab your food from outside, sit, there's bathrooms, you can wash your hands, there's prep centers for the food trucks. So
I'm very
safe-
familiar with the building. My entire family had their wedding receptions out of there.
Sounds good.
My father was a life member of the VFW Post, and he's buried at St. Hedwig's Cemetery. So,
God rest his soul. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
you and your services.
and everybody, enjoy your Ramadan, and
Thank
many
you.
blessings. Thank you.
Thanks, Vince. Next up,
Rachel LaPointe, Merrick Street, Dearborn Heights. I'll try to be quick. A lot of really random things. Plant Moran, I actually did the numbers yesterday on how much we've spent on that GAP program, and I split out the bills because there's some other things that they help with. We are just under $1 million for the assistance provided to the comptroller's office since 2022. I am concerned, Hype is already advertising their festival, so hopefully building department's on that, figuring that out, because they're already advertising, and if they don't have all their permits with the city done, that seems a little, we gotta get on this, like, making sure people are coming in early enough before their events.
hang on 1 second.
Yeah.
Rick, pause your time. I think Rick just stated that Hype does have a permit. They went to it and they had a 3-year
Oh, okay,
window.
yeah, yeah.
So they're good. So I know this
As
because
long as it's the same food trucks, yeah.
I called Rick and I said, I want to make sure everybody's following the right proper policy and procedure. And I said, how is Hype doing this? And they didn't come in front of council. He said, their contract with they were able to go for 3 or 4 years. And this
Okay.
includes their diversity festival and this Ramadan festival.
Oh, nice.
So they've
Okay.
already come, they have their permits, and that's what I was told.
Okay, so yeah, and I
No?
think it's on the planning commission agenda for this week to talk about the food truck ordinance too, if anybody was interested in going and talking to them on Thursday. I am curious with all the talk about police transparency and accountability and all this kind of stuff, maybe not transparency, but accountability. I think we should maybe think about the idea that Tom had brought up about a public safety commission, because that's the way you're gonna get accountability. By having people that are not police officers able to say, hey, can we do the audit of that? Because if I'm a police officer, I'm gonna be more inclined to maybe be like, oh yeah, that's okay, that was just a little thing. Because I'm gonna protect my buddies, right?
I agree with you on that.
So, having outside accountability, I think, would be a big thing to increase the public trust in the department. Because right now, there's zero trust for a lot of people, or less than that. And on that topic, May of 2021, you guys, well, city council at that time, approved a police dashboard, ARX, that we are paying over $13,000 a year for, and has never been publicly announced or is available on the city website or anything like that. So we're paying $13,000 every year for a dashboard that nobody sees? And it was supposed to be this really cool public dashboard where we could see like all sorts of stuff. I believe Chief Myers pitched that, and hasn't been heard of since. So again, that
Is it the one where you hit the
accountability
button and it shoots?
No, this is a website that says like how many, I don't know, arrests
Oh,
we
yes,
had
yes,
or whatever.
yes.
Which brings me to my next thing, Sunshine Week. We need to get this. Civic Plus has a FOIA request portal thing. If we're gonna spend money on something, let's save our clerk's, well, maybe not the clerk's office, but different things. This is not something we already have. I'm gonna be taking this to Lynn, or actually I'll just give this to you guys to send over to the IT department and look into that, because I think it would make things a lot easier for the staff and the residents and increase transparency.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the public? Seeing none. Do we got a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Whoa. All right, motion to adjourn by all the council members. Seconded by all the council members.
He wants to spend the night.
No, take a roll call.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilwoman Menalowski Maxwell. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
We have enough.
We got one no. Madam Clerk, can you take roll call?
This is,
He said no. Say aye, all right.
aye.
Motion carries.
Food.